Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. It's terrifying. Whitebeard-sama, my name is Matrumami. As you can see, I come from Hidden Mist Village, but I'm not here to cause trouble. Matrumami didn't beat around the bush. She knows that when dealing with such a man, you must speak straight, and you can't beat around the bush. I want to cooperate with you. Or rather, I invite you to cooperate. Matrumami got straight to the point. The power you possess is the best partner we can find. Compared to the mercenary from the Akatsuki organization, Matrumami seemed to have a high She didn't think about pulling such a man under her command, because she knew it was impossible to accomplish. So, she talked about cooperation. Whitebeard looked at her with hollow eyes. Hidden Mist Village brat, if pirates want to talk about cooperation, they need to greet each other to ensure who will lead this cooperation. Whitebeard was talking about the rules on the sea. He didn't ask what the content of the cooperation was. He just grinned. Are you sure you want to cooperate? Although Matrumami didn't quite understand what Whitebeard meant by greeting, but she still said, Whitebeard-sama, I sincerely invite you. I know Whitebeard-sama is a pirate, who likes gold and silver jewelry very much. If Whitebeard-sama is willing to help us, as long as we achieve the final goal, we are willing to give all the fiscal revenue of Hidden Mist Village for a year as your reward. Although Hidden Mist Village is very poor, the fiscal revenue for a year will not be less than 500 million ryo. After saying these words, Matrumami was full of expectation. TSK, Hidden Mist Village brat, are you trying to get something for nothing? Whitebeard has been in the sea for so many years, and he has a large territory in the New World, which is no different from an emperor. He saw through Matrumami's little tricks at a glance. Whitebeard-sama, I can pay the deposit for the reward first. Matrumami took out a scroll. She said very seriously, there is 50 million ryo of cash sealed in it. Matrumami's hand holding the scroll tightened a bit. This money was saved by her doing crazy tasks to rebel, and she had been saving it for several years by being frugal. I know I need to gain your trust first, so I'll just say it. I want to cooperate with you. I also believe that a heroic man like you will not leak this out. Matrumami gritted her teeth. She didn't want to miss such a powerful force. She decided to go all out. She said, I want to invite you, Whitebeard, to overthrow the Blood Mist rule of the 4th Mizukage. My goal is to end the Blood Mist policy and make Hidden Mist Village return to normal. Whitebeard-sama, when you first arrived in the Land of Water, you should have also seen some of the conditions of the Land of Water. Not only is Hidden Mist Village, but the whole country has become deformed. The problem originates from a Blood Mist policy. Gorara. So you mean, you want to hire the Whitebeard pirates to help you rebel? Matrumami hesitated. Still nodded. Yes. Stupid son, what do you think? Whitebeard didn't talk to Matrumami anymore, but asked Naruto, who had just turned 6, with a smile. Naruto didn't expect that Pops would throw this question to him. Matrumami also didn't expect Whitebeard to let the little kid think about such a serious issue. Is this Whitebeard taking this matter seriously? Moreover, even if a little kid's suggestion were to be genuinely put forth, would this suggestion become well considered? Would Whitebeard listen? Isn't his the same as empty talk? Matrumami's face darkened. She probably understood. This may be a very tactful way of refusal by Whitebeard. The other party doesn't want to get involved in this muddy water of Hidden Mist Village. It seems. The cooperation failed. And Naruto was scratching his head at this time. His little brain was thinking hard. Pops, we still lack some money to build the Moby Dick. If we could have money, we could build the ship. Naruto's idea is very simple. At this age, he won't have any roundabout ideas. Pops, maybe we can help them. Naruto said weakly, in this way, we will have money. Put on some momentum. Stupid son. Whitebeard scolded, you are the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates. Don't let others look down on our Whitebeard pirates. Naruto quickly shouted loudly, Pops, I think we should cooperate with them and get the treasure needed by the pirate group from them. Gorr. That's how it should be. Stupid son. Whitebeard grinned, and under Matru Mummy's stunned gaze, he boldly said, in that case, the Whitebeard pirates will take on this job. After all, this is the decision of the captain of the first team appointed by me, Whitebeard. Gorr. Isn't this a bit too childish? A decision made by a small child. And Whitebeard agreed? Matru Mummy was a bit dazed, but she knew this was good news. She came here this time and actually pulled the Whitebeard pirates into her camp. It seems. It went smoother than she imagined. Phew. Matru Mummy breathed a sigh of relief. She showed a slight smile, and said, in that case, let me tell Whitebeard some about our plan. No. Whitebeard interrupted, the moment you cooperate with the Whitebeard pirates, all of your plan is cancelled. Matru Mummy was taken aback. Gorr. Whitebeard's hearty laughter carried a bit of conqueror's hockey overflow. He said to Matru Mummy, whose face changed, hidden mist village brat, this is the premise of cooperating with the Whitebeard pirates. Everything is up to the Whitebeard pirates. Or, you can also fight for the right to speak for yourselves, and have a mutual greeting that belongs to the men of the sea. Whitebeard raised Morakamagiri and heavily planted the tail end on the ground. Make a choice. Hidden Mist Village Brat. Chapter 99, Invade and Plunder Hidden Mist Village. Don't teach the Whitebeard pirates how to do things. Matru Mummy didn't expect Whitebeard's behavior to be so domineering. The two choices in front of her made it difficult for her to choose. In Matru Mummy's original plan, she did have the idea of getting something for nothing. This is her plan A. If Whitebeard doesn't follow this plan, then plan A is directly scrapped. Matru Mummy seamlessly transitions to plan B. To cooperate with Whitebeard in the form of hiring, spending money to pull Whitebeard into her faction. Camp, although this will cost a lot of money. But as long as the goal can be achieved, no matter how big the price is, it can be accepted. It seems that plan B has succeeded. But the problem is, only half succeeded. In Matru Mummy's envisioned plan B. She spends money to hire Whitebeard, then she should be in the dominant position. Her identity and voice are like the party A in business talks, and Whitebeard, who takes money to do things, is like the party B in business talks. That is to say, in the cooperation relationship between the two parties, the person with the most say should be her, Matru Mummy. Whitebeard needs to take money to do things according to her plan. But Whitebeard's domineering character is beyond imagination. The other party actually turned the tables. Whitebeard Dono, we have been preparing for this plan for many years. Matru Mummy emphasized, none of us want any flaws in the plan, because one carelessness will lead to a total loss. Gorr. What does this have to do with me? Whitebeard grinned, blocking the words that Matru Mummy was about to say. Hidden Mist Village Brat, so you want to have a negotiation greeting that belongs to the men of the sea? Whitebeard asked. I actually don't want to have a conflict, but Matru Mummy said seriously, if it involves that plan, I won't let any flaws appear in the plan. She made a seal. Matru Mummy said solemnly, I can probably guess what you mean by greeting, Whitebeard Dono. If the right to speak between us needs to be fought for in this way, then it seems I have to fight for it. Gorr. You little brat are interesting. Whitebeard raised his eyebrows. Then let me see your capacity, Hidden Mist Village Brat. Whitebeard decisively made a move. Even Matru Mummy, who was on guard, didn't expect Whitebeard made a move so hastily. She just saw Whitebeard mercilessly slashing his Naginata forward without mercy. It's hard to imagine that such a big Naginata, in Whitebeard's hand, is as light as a feather, and the speed of the stab is extremely fast. Matru Mummy was greatly surprised. Her face changed drastically. She hurriedly jumped up, narrowly avoiding Morakamagiri. But one of her shoes on her left foot was cut open by the blade of Morakamagiri, revealing a tender foot as white as jade with clear toes. Hey, little kid. Stay away. While making the seal, Matru Mummy reminded Naruto. Water style, water dragon bullet jutsu. She had already completed the seal. And opened her mouth. From her small mouth, she actually spat out a huge stream of water. One end of the stream of water turned into a ferocious dragon head in the blink of an eye. The huge dragon head was even bigger than a house. The roaring water dragon, with the sound of surging waves. It went straight to Whitebeard. This is the most exaggerated water-style ninjutsu that Whitebeard has ever seen. The few Hidden Mist Village ninjas he had met before were not as good as this Hidden Mist Village little brat named Matru Mummy. Whitebeard's thoughts flashed through his mind, but his hand movements did not stop. He slashed out with a knife. Without using his devil fruit ability, and even without using haki, this Naginata actually cut the huge water dragon into two. Morakamagiri cut open the water dragon and the air. A huge slash visible to the naked eye flew out with the power to destroy everything. Maitrumame's pupils suddenly shrank to the size of pinholes. Ninja art, water replacement jutsu. Swish. The slash instantly shattered her body, but there was no blood splatter, only water splashes flew out. That was close. Maitru landed not far away. Cold sweat dripped from her forehead. Her face full of lingering fear. When she turned her head to look, she saw the slash that Whitebeard had just made, which had actually torn a trench in the ground. The trench was several meters wide at least. The length was hard to see with the naked eye. Unbelievable. Is this the destroyer of nations? Edward Newgate? Maitrumame's murmuring tone was full of shock. Is this the way pirates greet each other? If her reaction was just a little bit slower, their cooperation could have ended. Because a slower reaction means decapitation. Hidden Mist Village brat. Are you looking down on me by being distracted in battle? Whitebeard's voice suddenly rang out, making Maitru almost lose her breath, because the source of the voice was too close. The corner of her eye caught a glimpse of Whitebeard's body, which had somehow appeared in front of her. They were close at hand. Not good. Maitru was horrified. Buzz. The blade of Murakamagiri's slash made her feel a sense of death, and she dodged it in a very embarrassing posture. She narrowly avoided it again. But the turbulent wind rolled up by Murakamagiri's slash. Blew her away. Maitru quickly stabilized her body and landed on the ground, but saw another slash coming. She didn't understand what kind of ninjutsu this was, that could be instantly released with one slash, and without the need for hand seals. But since this is ninjutsu, it must be composed of chakra. In that case, lava style, lava weasel jutsu. Maitru revealed one of her KK Genkai. She spat out a large lump of mucus. As Maitru shook her head, the corrosive mucus flew out like a weasel slash. Two huge slashes collided. Boom. Under Maitru unbelievable gaze, the slash that Whitebeard had made directly cut through her KK Genkai ninjutsu. How is it possible? My lava-style KK Genkai can corrode other people's chakra. Could it be that his slash is not ninjutsu? Maitru was shocked. He didn't even use chakra. Are you kidding me? She watched as Whitebeard slash tore another trench in the ground, and a building not far away was easily cut in half. Maitru eyelids were twitching, and the brief exchange had made her realize that she might not be a match for Whitebeard. Currently, Maitru does not possess the Kage-level combat power she will have 10 years later, and she is merely an elite jonin in Hidden Mist Village. She seriously doubts that Whitebeard is showing mercy because of the 50 million down payment. If it weren't for that sudden strike at the very beginning, it would have been enough to take her life. Please wait. Maitru survival instinct was instantly maxed out. She didn't want to lose her life because of a bout. Rationality also made her hurriedly speak up. Whitebeard Dono, I think we have talked clearly. Maitru is very clear that it is easy to invite Buddha but difficult to send Buddha away. She also knows that if she terminates the cooperation with Whitebeard, the other party is unlikely to agree. Yes. When Whitebeard showed his overwhelming strength, Maitru had already realized that she didn't even have the chance to terminate the cooperation. She was destined to be led by the nose by the other party. Although the situation is completely different from what she initially imagined, there is no turning back now. In that case, take a gamble. Phew. Please Whitebeard Dono and your Whitebeard pirates make all the leading decisions. Maitru bowed her head. The gap in strength between the two parties left her without a bit of say. She felt that she had made a wrong move in this chess game, and even if it meant using the money to hire the Akatsuki organization, it would be better than hiring Whitebeard's pirate crew. At least, the Akatsuki organization should not interfere too much with her plan. The other party will only take money to do things. Well, probably like this. A few minutes later. Because of the big commotion caused by Whitebeard and Maitru, Kakashi, Uzumaki Fushi, Karen, Shizue Uchiha, these four people noticed the commotion and hurried over. Then, Kakashi learned some dumbfounding news from the excited Naruto Uzumaki. Hold on. We're going to Hidden Mist Village to participate in a coup? Kakashi's eyes were wide open, he looked at Whitebeard, and then at Maitru. His thoughts were in a mess. Kakashi was just teaching Karen the three-body technique. Then, he suddenly felt a violent commotion coming from a distance, and also saw a huge water dragon from afar. At that time, he realized that something had happened. Because that was where Naruto was. Kakashi didn't have time to think too much, he just rushed in that direction. When he got here, Kakashi saw Naruto, who was unharmed, and also saw Whitebeard, and saw a strange Hidden Mist Village ninja. At first, he thought this Hidden Mist Village was an enemy. But the words that Naruto said made him dumbfounded. You are the copy ninja Kakashi from Hidden Leaf Village? Maitru Mummy's eyes suddenly lit up. Kakashi is also a little famous in the ninja world. You are actually a companion of Whitebeard Dano? Kakashi just wanted to explain a bit, but suddenly remembered. Even if he deliberately explains that he is not a companion of Whitebeard, it seems to be of no use. After all, in order to monitor Whitebeard and Naruto, he must follow them. In this way, in the eyes of outsiders, if he is not their companion, what else can he be? Great. Maitru Mummy didn't notice anything wrong with Kakashi's expression. She just felt that she had finally made a big profit. This is a comfort to her. With the addition of Kakashi the Copy Ninja Sharingan, our chances of success can be raised a bit. Maitru Mummy took another look at Uzumaki Fuashi. She didn't know Uzumaki Fuashi. Then she turned her gaze to Shizue Uchiha. This face also looks familiar. It made her suddenly stunned. Shizue of the body flicker. Maitru Mummy recognized Shizue, and she was shocked again. She found that the lineup of Whitebeard's pirate crew to be quite strange. Why are there 2 Hidden Leaf Village ninjas in the Whitebeard pirates? Maitru Mummy did indeed collect information in advance before coming to the shipyard, but the information she could collect was very limited. She only knew that Whitebeard was not alone, but she didn't know the identities of the people around Whitebeard. She assumed that the people around Whitebeard must be the crew of the Whitebeard pirates, right? But it seems now she guessed wrong. Kakashi didn't care about Maitru Mummy's expression and mental changes. He said to Whitebeard, "Whitebeard, the Hidden Mist Village in the Land of Water is different from the Hidden Grass Village in the Land of Grass. Although both are ninja villages, there is a difference in strength and weakness. If the Whitebeard pirates join forces with the rogue ninjas of Hidden Mist Village, and even cooperate with them to launch a rebellion in Hidden Mist Village, this will inevitably offend a ninja village to death." Kakashi was trying to explain the seriousness of the problem. But the next second, he was interrupted by Maitru Mummy. "I think you must have misunderstood something. I am not a rogue ninja from Hidden Mist Village." Maitru Mummy explained, "And the coup I want to launch is not to overthrow Hidden Mist Village, but to overthrow the 4th Mizukage. Kakashi Dano, you should be able to distinguish the difference." Maitru Mummy continued, "You should also be clear about the blood mist policy of Hidden Mist Village, and how much pain it has brought to Hidden Mist Village." That. Shizue Uchiha raised his hand. He interjected, "Although I am not from your Hidden Mist Village, I think the contradictions in a village should not be resolved by force. Perhaps there are other ways to solve it?" Shizue Uchiha unconsciously thought of Hidden Leaf Village. He also thought of their Uchiha clan. Although this happened a bit hastily, Shizue could still associate the similarities between Hidden Mist Village and Hidden Leaf Village. The coup rebellion prepared by Maitru Mummy. It's like the Uchiha clan's coup. If you truly love this village, you should not use this extreme method, but a gentle way to solve it. Shizue wanted to give advice, but found that he didn't know much about Hidden Mist Village, so he could only say so much. Shizue of the body flicker. "Are you really from the Uchiha clan?" Maitru Mummy looked at Shizue Uchiha with a strange expression. "What's wrong?" Shizue was taken aback. "What you said? It's as if you are not the Uchiha clan member at all." Maitru Mummy told the truth. During the Third Ninja World War, Maitru Mummy had contact with the Uchiha clan's ninjas, and those Uchiha clan people were very extreme, definitely mentally ill. But the words of Shizue Uchiha in front of her is different from the Uchiha clan in her impression. Uchiha member but not too extreme? We have tried many methods, but they are all useless. Maitru Mummy took a deep breath, and the reason why our Hidden Mist Village has become like this is also related to your Uchiha clan. Shizue, it's like even if you are sitting at home and doing nothing, but trouble comes out of nowhere. Although those high-level people said that this is a secret of Hidden Mist Village, I don't think there is anything wrong with saying it. Maitru Mummy said, "Our 4th Mizukage was once controlled by Sharingan, and it wasn't until a few years ago that we found something wrong." Kakashi. Shizue. Under the control of Sharingan, the 4th Mizukage intensified the blood mist policy, and the entire ninja village and even the country were under extreme pressure, until this matter was discovered by the high-level people of Hidden Mist Village. We used a secret technique to rescue the 4th Mizukage from the Sharingan Ganjutsu. Here Maitru Mummy refers to using Byakugan to discover the clues of the 4th Mizukage, and then took action to remove the Sharingan Ganjutsu. But Maitru Mummy's tone changed. The 4th Mizukage didn't change much. The blood mist policy eased for a year and then returned to the original extreme pressure state. Even more intense, causing many ninjas in the village to not be able to bear it. A large number of Hidden Mist Village ninjas began to rebel against the village. We don't know what the reason is. She clenched her teeth. Now, the only way to save this village from the blood mist policy is to kill the 4th Mizukage. Shizue fell silent. He didn't expect that the situation in Hidden Mist Village was actually related to their Uchiha clan. Wait a minute. He was also someone who could know a lot of internal news in the Uchiha clan. How come he didn't know that there was someone in the Uchiha clan who controlled the shadow of a ninja village? He had never heard of this. From Maitrumomi's tone, this didn't seem to be false, but this is after all your Hidden Mist Village's family affair. Kakashi kept his mind calm. Just as he was about to say something, Whitebeard's voice rang out, "Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr grandpa's little brat. This is a decision made by the captain of the first team of my Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard said loudly, I am a pirate. My Whitebeard pirates do whatever they want. We don't care with those broken rules of yours that are like playing house. Phew. Whitebeard's statement made True Mommy breathe a sigh of relief. She could see that among this group of people, Whitebeard was the real decision maker. Whether it was Kakashi the copy ninja Sharingan, or Shishui of the body flicker, none of them were as effective as Whitebeard's words. Sorry. Kakashi's serious face faded away. He returned to his listless fish face. Whitebeard had spoken, what could he, a mobile piggy bank, say? Sigh, this pirate group was getting him deeper and deeper into trouble. He was afraid he couldn't get out from this. Because Kakashi knew he had to stay with Naruto, if Whitebeard openly participated in the coup of Hidden Mist Village, wouldn't that mean that he, Kakashi, was also forced to participate? Kakashi looked at True Mommy. He said something that made True Mommy a little confused. Actually, you shouldn't have come to hire the Whitebeard pirates. It's easy to get on the ship, but it's hard to get off. The next moment, Whitebeard spoke, Hey. Hidden Mist Village brat, how long will it take to get to your Hidden Mist Village from here? 2 days. True Mommy immediately replied. Gorara. Stupid son. Whitebeard laughed at Naruto, I will make an exception to allow you to rest for 2 days, you carry the pirate flag of the Whitebeard pirates. In 2 days, the pirate flag of the Whitebeard pirates will be inserted at the highest point of Hidden Mist Village. We are going to invade Hidden Mist Village. To plunder Hidden Mist Village. Okay. Pops. Naruto tried to straighten his waist, his little face full of excitement and excitement. True Mommy's eyes widened. Wait a minute. Invade Hidden Mist Village? Plunder Hidden Mist Village? Isn't. This is a bit different from what was originally said. Wait a minute. Whitebeard Dono, the plan we originally envisioned is not like this. True Mommy hurriedly said, and isn't it too fast? It's not the best time now, exposing the action so quickly, it's very likely to fail. We have to wait at least half a year. Her voice stopped abruptly as Whitebeard glanced at her. The rest of the words were all stuck in her throat. She couldn't say a word. Hidden Mist Village brat, are you teaching the Whitebeard pirates how to do things? Whitebeard's words made True Mommy break out in a cold sweat. The pressure of the Conqueror's hockey emanating from Whitebeard made True Mommy almost unable to breathe. At this moment, she finally understood what Kakashi's words. What they really meant. Chapter 100, Kisame, Zabusa, Biwajazo. Whitebeard attacks. Whitebeard, Naruto, Uzumaki Fuashi, Karen, Kakashi, Shisui, True Mommy. The 7 of them each had their own thoughts. Whitebeard's goal is naturally not as simple as doing things for money. As the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, everything starts naturally for the pirate crew. More importantly, for his own family. When he knew that Hidden Mist Village was one of the 5 major ninja villages, Whitebeard was already eager to move. Pirate. Are born for treasure. Whether it's the last 100 million ryo needed to build the Moby Dick, or to save a little more treasure for the construction of his former hometown, or to leave a large family business for his sons and daughters. Whitebeard has to target Hidden Mist Village, one of the 5 major ninja villages. If targeting the Hidden Grass Village is just because he can't stand people threatening others' families, and then he takes action out of righteousness, then this time Whitebeard targeted Hidden Mist Village. It's simply what a pirate should do. Naruto, on the other hand, is very excited, because this is the suggestion he made. He, the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates, originally had such a big say in the pirate crew. Pops listened to his suggestion. This moved Naruto very much. When he was in Hidden Leaf Village, no one wanted to hear his voice, he was like a mute in the village. And in Whitebeard's eyes, his voice is as heavy as a mountain. Whitebeard didn't ignore Naruto's suggestion, and actively let Naruto make the decision, which made Naruto feel a warm current in his heart. Uzumaki Fuashi and Karen, this mother and daughter, have a simple idea: as long as Whitebeard says anything, they will follow unconditionally. Invade Hidden Mist Village, plunder Hidden Mist Village, participate in the coup of Hidden Mist Village. These things, in the eyes of others, are no different from suicide. Who doesn't know that the 4th Mizukage is a perfect Jinchuriki? You have to face the power of a large ninja village. But Uzumaki Fuashi and Karen are not afraid. There is no sign of retreat at all. This is the value of the word family in their eyes. Shisui, why did you come too? On the way to Hidden Mist Village, Kakashi sighed every few steps, and looked at Shisui Uchiha helplessly with his dead fish eyes. Now Shisui Uchiha, some of the bandages on his body have been removed, and the injuries in his body are much better than before. At least, he is no longer an injured person who needs to be protected. Shisui can now extract chakra and have the power to fight. It's considered a return of favor. Shisui thought for a while and replied, Whitebeard saved me, I should always return his favor. After all, I am not the kind of ungrateful and ruthless person. Kakashi-senpai, why are you involved? Shisui suddenly asked. Do I need to say? It's for Naruto. Kakashi rolled his eyes and said, you know how important he is to Hidden Leaf Village, not to mention. I also have a mission given by the Hokage. If I don't keep Naruto in check, my mission will fail. Is it really just that? Shisui pondered, but I can see that you are not only concerned about Naruto Uzumaki, you seem to be also concerned about others. Kakashi was silent for a moment, and denied 3 times in a row, I'm not, don't talk nonsense. Shisui didn't stop, but continued to question, Kakashi-senpai, don't you want to face your own heart? Face your heart? Kakashi put one hand in his pocket and sighed, you win, I also care about Karen, okay? After all, she is also a child, and an innocent child. It's too dangerous for a child of her age to be involved in such a thing. I don't know what Whitebeard is thinking, letting his young daughter follow him to participate in such a big event. Kakashi's last sentence was said in a low voice, so as not to be heard by Whitebeard. Is it really just that? Kakashi-senpai, I can see that you are also concerned about Whitebeard. Why is that? Shisui was quite puzzled. Hey. Shisui's words startled Kakashi, don't talk nonsense. The conversation between the two people. They spoke in very hushed voices. Walking at the front of the group, Materumami couldn't hear clearly. She was leading Whitebeard to Hidden Mist Village, her mind in turmoil. Materumami didn't expect that inviting Whitebeard would mess up the entire coup plan. She was worried and anxious. What if the coup plan failed? What would happen to Hidden Mist Village? What would happen to the Land of Water? The detailed plan she and a group of like-minded people had made was ruthlessly shattered by Whitebeard's fist. And Whitebeard wanted to carry out the coup plan his way. What could a pirate do? From Materumami's shallow understanding of Whitebeard, he might want to violently break into Hidden Mist Village. That is to say, Whitebeard vetoed her detailed coup plan without any other plans. This. It would be a lie to say that she didn't regret it. Materumami realized that she didn't find reinforcements, nor a strong aid. She found a big man. I don't know how to explain it to them. Materumami muttered in a daze. She admitted that she was too young, too naive, and too simple-minded. The suggestion to invite Whitebeard was proposed by her. It was also her, Materumami, who strongly advocated it. And she personally invited him. For this, she even took half of the coup funds without authorization. She took a full 50 million ryo to invite Whitebeard to join. She even promised Whitebeard a big pie. The annual fiscal revenue of Hidden Mist Village. Everything was her fault. If it ultimately led to a total loss, then she would be the center of the entire Hidden Mist Village, and even the entire the Land of Water. She would be nailed to the pillar of shame. In case of failure. Materumami clenched her fist slightly. She took a deep breath and said to herself, maybe all I can do is to apologize with death. The original plan was so detailed and perfect. Hidden Mist Village brat. Whitebeard's hearty laughter broke Materumami's depression. Gorrrrrrr. Don't look down on the Whitebeard pirates. Did he hear me? Materumami was stunned. He heard such a low voice she was a bit embarrassed. Of course I trust Whitebeard Dono, and I trust the Whitebeard pirates very much. The only comfort for her now is that Kakashi and Shisui are by Whitebeard's side. If these two are willing to take action, maybe they can really do it. Whitebeard Dono. Materumami hesitated and said, should we find a place to settle the two young children? Are you sure you want to take them into such a dangerous place? Materumami was a bit worried that Naruto and Karen, the two little kids, would become Whitebeard's weakness. Hey. Auntie. Don't look down on me. Naruto was immediately dissatisfied. He was carrying a long flagpole, and atop of the flagpole was hanging the flag of the Whitebeard pirates. Naruto shouted, I am going to be a man who surpasses the Hokage, I am not weak at all. Auntie? Materumami didn't hear anything else. She only heard these two words. Kid. What did you say? She turned around with gritted teeth, trying to grab Naruto's face. However, she found that she had caught nothing. Naruto dodged it. Huh? Materumami was taken aback. Materumami was very confident in her taijutsu skills. It was so abrupt to grab someone's cheek that even a Chunin might not be able to dodge her move. But she couldn't catch a little kid. This surprised her. Is it a coincidence? Andy, I'm really tough, you know. Naruto's young face showed a hint of seriousness as he emphasized, even Pops has said that I can now take part in the battles between pirates and pirates or between the Navy and pirates, even on the sea. Stinky kid. Don't call me auntie. Matru Mummy's forehead showed a blue vein, and she glared at Naruto angrily. I'm only 21. 21. She reached out to Naruto with both hands, but Naruto seemed to know what she was going to do, and he took a step back. Naruto dodged it again. You little kid. If Matru Mummy doesn't realize something is wrong. She is not worthy to be a ninja. It seems that you little kid is indeed a bit interesting. Matru Mummy's eyes flashed with a different color. She guessed that Naruto has a very special perception, or a very outrageous reaction. With such a talent, even if you can't face the enemy, you still have a bit of self-preservation. If you're not facing a large-scale ninjutsu, it's still possible to save your life. Meanwhile, Hidden Mist Village. Aodano, the fourth Mizukage, has recalled many Hidden Mist Village who were performing tasks outside. He may want to gather the entire power of Hidden Mist Village and then kill Whitebeard, who is entrenched in the shipyard. A Hidden Mist Village ninja reported to Ao. At present, there are already hundreds of ninjas who have returned to the village. Plus the original ninjas in the village, the total number has reached thousands. However, Geinin will definitely not participate. By then, those who follow the action will start from Chunin, and the number may be around a few hundred. The Hidden Mist Village ninja continued. The 7 ninja swordsman's Hoshigaki Kisame has also returned. And the old 7 ninja swordsman's Biwajuzo is also in the village. The fourth Mizukage seems to attach great importance to Whitebeard. In order to deal with him, he has spent so much time gathering so many people. Big move. Ao, with an eye patch on his face, looked at the thick fog in the distance with one eye and murmured to himself, I don't know if the Mizukage is faster, or Matru Mummy is faster. Ao knew very well what Matru Mummy had been doing these days when she was missing. Matru Mummy ran to invite Whitebeard to join them. If Matru Mummy's actions are faster than the Mizukage's, by cooperating with Whitebeard, she can remind Whitebeard of the crisis he is facing. Then Whitebeard can avoid this deadly disaster. By then, Whitebeard will also be able to see their sincerity. The two sides will then join forces to plan for future coups. This is a good plan, to unite all those who can be united, and not to let go of any powerful help. The only risk is probably human heart. Ao is worried that Whitebeard will pretend to cooperate, and finally sell their teammates, letting them fall into a desperate situation. After all, the other party is a pirate. Matru Mummy is still too young. Ao sighed. I hope her decision will not be wrong, otherwise we will all be buried here. As his words fell, he looked at the Hidden Mist Village ninja next to him. Do you know when the fourth Mizukage will probably set off? At most 3 days later. The Hidden Mist Village ninja replied, it may be 2 days later. Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. At this stage, Biwajuzo has not yet rebelled from Hidden Mist Village. At this moment, he is sitting by a river in Hidden Mist Village, and the exaggerated Kubika Ribicho is inserted next to him. Hey, hey, hey. Biwajuzo held a bounty in his hand, a bounty of 100 million, the cage of the 5 major ninja villages, is worth about this much. TSK. That guy called us back to deal with such a man. From Biwajuzo's tone, it was clear that he had no respect for the fourth Mizukage. He had long been rebellious. Zabuza, what do you think? Biwajuzo threw the bounty order, and a hand behind him caught it. Now, Momoki Zabuza is still Biwajuzo's assistant, and has not yet become the new owner of the Kubika Ribicho. Zabuza glanced at the text on the bounty order. He crumpled it up, and Zabuza said coldly, to summon us back to be enemies with Whitebeard for a broken shipyard. Those who don't know would think that Whitebeard has invaded the Hidden Mist Village. As a Mizukage, he always makes absurd moves. For a shipyard, he wants the village Chunin to go and die. Zabuza also had no respect for the fourth Mizukage. Mizukage should have been replaced by someone else a long time ago. He spoke more recklessly than Juzo Biwa. No wonder he would later make a rebellious move to assassinate the Mizukage. Ha ha ha. Biwajuzo laughed emotionlessly, and then said, but we are ninjas of Hidden Mist Village after all, and we must obey the orders of the Mizukage. But I have decided that after this job, I will leave. Biwajuzo's words stunned Zabuza. Leave? Zabuza frowned. Biwajuzo said, there is an organization called Akatsuki, and a woman named Konan in them found me. 3 months ago, we had a fight, and I lost. She asked me to join Akatsuki and gave me half a year to consider. Biwajuzo looked up at the sky. I have made up my mind. He extended an olive branch to Zabuza. Zabuza, You are a very excellent young man. Are you interested in joining Akatsuki with me? If you and I join forces, even outside of Hidden Mist Village, we can make a name for ourselves. No. Zabuza answered. His eyes were full of murderous intent. I will stay in the village because I have more important things to do. Oh? Biwajazo said, is it that kid? He looks pretty cute. I thought he was a girl before. Until I saw him in the men's bathroom, it scared me. Zabuza was taken aback. He turned his face away. Humphrey. It has nothing to do with him. He is just a killing tool I want to cultivate. Hoshigaki Kisame aimlessly walked around Hidden Mist Village. His appearance, even in the blood mist policy-ridden Hidden Mist Village, was a very peculiar one. Often attracting strange looks from others. But he didn't care. I haven't been back for half a year. Hoshigaki Kisame carried a seimata, and the sword in his hand was wrapped in bandages. He frowned at the lifeless Hidden Mist Village. Nothing has changed. Hoshigaki Kisame shook his head. The entire Hidden Mist Village had no vitality, and everyone who passed by him was numb. The goods in the shops on the street were even fewer. There's not much to sell, and the prices of the goods are very high. Even the ninjas feel the pain of such high prices. Most people are thin and haggard. It's outrageous. It's hard to imagine that such a Hidden Mist Village is one of the 5 major ninja villages in the ninja world. The blood mist policy advocated by the 4th Mizukage has killed countless people in just a few years. What's wrong with me? I used to never be confused. Kisame murmured in a voice only he could hear. Over the years, he has always been doing his duty as a ninja. For the tasks assigned to him by the village. He has killed many Hidden Mist Village ninjas. Kisame has killed many fellow villagers who despised him, and also killed many companions who were kind to him. He used to never feel confused. He only knew that since the village asked him to do so, there must be a reason for the village. But as such tasks become more and more, the more companions he killed, the more Kisame began to doubt himself. He also doubted the village. As a ninja of Hidden Mist Village, the most tasks I have done are to kill ninjas from my own village. So, as one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist Village, am I their enemy or their teammate in front of the ninjas of Hidden Mist Village? Kisame unconsciously stood at a crossroads. Passers-by passed by him. Where should I go? What is my position? What is my purpose? Do I have an identity? It seems that I have found the reason for my confusion. He stood still at the crossroads. Until Hoshigaki Kisame. A sudden voice interrupted his thoughts. When he turned his head, he found that it was an Anbu from Hidden Mist Village. The Hidden Mist Village Anbu did not get too close to Hoshigaki Kisame. He was in a position where he thought he could escape from Kisame's attack range at any time. From this, it can be seen that Kisame is not particularly popular in Hidden Mist Village. After all, what he did was very shady. All were things like killing companions. Even if he was just carrying out tasks. At this time, the Hidden Mist Village Anbu said to Kisame, something big has happened. Immediately gather at the Mizukage office building. I know. After Kisame's sket, he suppressed the miscellaneous thoughts in his heart and casually asked, what happened? The Hidden Mist Village Anbu replied, Whitebeard has appeared. Huh? Kisame was taken aback. The Hidden Mist Village Anbu explained, we found that Whitebeard's movements have changed, and he is actually heading towards Hidden Mist Village. His size is too large, there is no way to hide his traces. Our people found something wrong, immediately came back to report to the Mizukage. Now the Mizukage asked us together. Kisame grinned. His mouth was full of sharp teeth. He stroked the hilt of the big sword, Seimata, and couldn't help but sigh. Truly the man who single-handedly destroyed a ninja village, charging straight into the Hidden Mist Village is quite an audacious feat. Chapter 101, Let Whitebeard Experience the Terror of the Blood Mist. Hidden Mist Village's Grand Assembly. Damn it. This Whitebeard, a pirate who doesn't knows nothing about ninja world. He simply doesn't take our Hidden Mist Village ninja village seriously. An annoyed voice echoed in the Mizukage's office. Even though Karatachi Yagura's blood mist policy was unpopular, there were still some ninjas who could profit from it. They used the blood mist policy to strengthen their clans, and these people were numerous. They usually became hardcore supporters of Karatachi Yagura. The one who spoke was a jonin from Hidden Mist Village. This person is the leader of a ninja clan in Hidden Mist Village. His temples were slightly graying, and his face was full of anger. That guy doesn't even take the Mizukage seriously. He killed Kurisuke Riga and Tomonori Yamazu, occupied the shipyard. We were just about to settle the score with him. But unexpectedly, that guy actually came straight to us. Arrogant. Extremely arrogant. He proposed with gritted teeth. Mizukage, I suggest we go straight to kill Whitebeard. We can't let a pirate like him come to us. Otherwise, our Hidden Mist Village will lose face. We have to kill him before he gets close to Hidden Mist Village. This way, the ninja world will know that the Hidden Mist Village ninja is not easy to provoke. Such a radical proposal did not meet any opposition. If this was in Hidden Leaf Village, his words would have been rebutted by at least 5 or 6 people. But in a place like Hidden Mist Village no one will refute. But, not everyone is here. Another Jonin from Hidden Mist Village scanned the surroundings and said. Some people from the KK Genkai clan seem unwilling to respond to the call. Humphrey. Those monsters with KK Genkai should all be eradicated. They are not only disloyal to the village, but also a bunch of unstable factors. Keeping such a group of monsters in the Land of Water will only bring disaster to the Land of Water and Hidden Mist Village. Hey, don't discuss this at this time. After someone said this, the topic gradually returned to Whitebeard. Mizukage-sama, please give your order. Everyone looked at Karatachi Yagura. It's hard to imagine that such a youthful-looking person is the 4th Mizukage of Hidden Mist Village and a perfect Jinchuriki. Karatachi Yagura sat in his chair, his hands clasped together, his chin resting on the back of his hand, and his elbows on the table. He spoke with a murderous tone. Attack directly. Kill Whitebeard. It seems that Hidden Mist Village's actions over the years has made the ninja world forget the terror of the Hidden Mist Village ninja. Today, we will let the entire ninja world see the powerful strength of Hidden Mist Village. Yes, Mizukage-sama. There are naturally many ninjas in this group who do not obey Karatachi Yagura, but at this time they can't say much. After all, it was Whitebeard who killed a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen and also killed 4 Hidden Mist Village ninjas. Moreover, he also killed a business partner of Hidden Mist Village. Under such circumstances, they couldn't find fault with Karatachi Yagura's decision, but many people had an ominous premonition. Genji-sama, aren't you going to say a few words? I looked at the hunched figure of Genji. He whispered in a voice that only I could hear. If we confront Whitebeard directly like this, many people in the village will definitely die. By the way, Maitre Mummy's persuasion probably failed. Otherwise, Whitebeard wouldn't have taken the initiative to come. Genji holds a very special position in Hidden Mist Village. He has assisted the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Mizukage. He is the oldest and most respected elder in the entire Hidden Mist Village. Genji shook his head. Let it be. He said in a voice that only Ao could hear, as the Mizukage, I can't stop the orders Yagura has decided to issue. Ao fell silent. He gave a bitter smile. Then I'm afraid we'll have to have a head-on collision with Whitebeard, who can destroy a ninja village. I just hope not too many people die, otherwise, the village's power will have to be reduced by several % again. In the corner of the office, Biwajuzo looked indifferently at a group of Hidden Mist Village ninjas, some brimming with killing intent, impassioned and surging, while others concealed their sinister intentions, revealing a hesitating expression. He said to Zabuza next to him, if you want to stay in the village to do something big, remember those who are silent. They are likely to become your allies. Hey. I don't need a bunch of wastes dominated by fear, these people will only hold me back in the future. Zabuza sneered. In his eyes, those silent people may also be dissatisfied with the Blood Mist policy, but those people didn't want to do anything from beginning to end because the strength of the 4th Mizukage, they're just cowards. You. Biwajuzo was quite helpless. When will you tone down your arrogance? Until the moment I die. Zabuza laughed grimly. After saying this, Zabuza, as if sensing something, cast his cold gaze to the right, and he saw a man with a very peculiar appearance looking this way. Hoshigaki Kisame. Zabuza couldn't help but lick his lips. Kisame moved his gaze away. He didn't speak. Let's go. Biwajuzo patted Zabuza on the shoulder, prepare to kill that Whitebeard. Time passed. I don't know if the ninja beasts I sent out have had time to send the message back. The coup plan has to be advanced. Maitre Mummy was quickly traversing the forest outside Hidden Mist Village. At this moment, she and Whitebeard and others are very close to Hidden Mist Village, at most it takes less than a day's journey. The forest of the Land of Water is completely different from Hidden Leaf Village. The forest here is full of fog and moisture, giving people a very humid feeling, and there is a faint smell of mold in the air. The most common animals in the forest are snakes and insects. The most common plants are thorny vines. The environment is extremely harsh. But this is also normal. Among the 5 major countries in the ninja world, only the Land of Fire that have the most normal environment. The Land of Fire not only has a pleasant climate, but also does not have an extreme environment. It has always been a delicious cake in the eyes of other ninja villages. If the strength of Hidden Leaf Village in the Land of Fire is not strong, I'm afraid that the entire Land of Fire might be divided among the 4 major countries. This kid is really not simple. Maitre Mummy took the time to look back and glanced at Naruto behind her. He can keep up with my speed without the help of others. Yes. Naruto did not receive any assistance while on the move. when he unloaded all the weights on his body. His speed became extremely fast. And he has a lot of stamina. Is he really only 6 years old? Mami was very doubtful. Such physical strength, such speed, looked more like a 16-year-old, and also a genius ninja at 16. Naruto. Aren't you tired? Mami couldn't help but be curious. She said to Naruto, you have been running at full speed for so long, you are just a 6-year-old child. Because this is far from his limit. Before Naruto could answer, Kakashi explained for Mami, Naruto ran 100 meters in 4.5 seconds under a weight of 800 kilograms some time ago. Mami's beautiful eyes widened. A weight of 800 kilograms? 100 meters in 4.5 seconds? If it's an adult taijutsu ninja, it might not be surprising, but Naruto doesn't look like an adult at all. Although it may be a bit hasty, even if I ask, it won't help. But I still want to ask, how many ninjas are there in Hidden Mist Village now? Kakashi said, having some preliminary information can at least give me a count. Mami was silent for a moment. She replied. After you killed Kurosukiraga, the 4th Mizukage began to summon ninjas back to the village. After these days, the ninjas who return to the village, plus the ninjas in the village, will definitely not be less than 500. Speaking of which, Mami felt a bit of regret. If it was Hidden Mist Village at its peak, these more than 500 ninjas would have to be multiplied by 10 or 20 times. Unfortunately, Hidden Mist Village has long been desolate. More than 500 people? Kakashi's eyelids jumped. He felt that this trip was a bit like going to commit suicide with Whitebeard, and also dragging Naruto to commit suicide. But thinking back to Whitebeard's outrageous strength, it seems there is a possibility of defeating Hidden Mist Village. If Shizue wants to repay Whitebeard, the other party might also take action to help the tyrant, helping Whitebeard invade Hidden Mist Village. Kakashi thought of that green demon, hiss. Thinking about it this way, they are indeed very strong, even terrifyingly strong. Kakashi felt that he should take off the Hidden Leaf Village headband at that time, so he would belong to a temporary non-Hidden Leaf Village ninja. Even if he couldn't get off the thief ship, it would not involve Hidden Leaf Village. Huh? What's the matter? Suddenly, Kakashi keenly noticed that Whitebeard behind him had stopped. What's wrong? Mami also stopped. She turned around in confusion. Gorara. Whitebeard paused, standing like an iron tower. Murakamagiri was planted on the ground. He laughed. His sharp eyes seemed to be able to penetrate the mist in the forest. It seems that we don't need to go to that Hidden Mist Village. Huh? Naruto didn't react for a while. He scratched his head in confusion. Pops, why not go? Kakashi reacted instantly. His pupils contracted. Hidden Mist Village acted before us. Whitebeard must have noticed the anomaly. He immediately looked at Mami. Mami was dumbfounded. It has nothing to do with me. Mami quickly explained. I sincerely wanted to invite Whitebeard-sama to cooperate. The ninja beast I sent back to deliver the message was only sent to the people I trust. Moreover, that ninja beast may not have returned to Hidden Mist Village yet. She gritted her teeth. I can guarantee with my life that I absolutely did not betray the Whitebeard pirates. I'm acting openly and honestly, and will never betray my allies. Kakashi felt that Mami was not lying. In that case, their traces must have been discovered by Hidden Mist Village's spies. Then Hidden Mist Village decided to take the initiative. That's troublesome. Shizue Uchiha jumped onto a tree, vigilantly observing the surroundings, and his right hand unconsciously touched the ninja's sword on his waist. Shizue said solemnly. If we attack Hidden Mist Village, the ninjas of Hidden Mist Village will be hindered by the fact that it is their territory and will instinctively not want to cause too much damage to their own ninja village. In that case, we actually have the advantage. But once the battlefield is moved to this wilderness, the Blood Mist ninjas of Hidden Mist Village will definitely stop at nothing and are not afraid of any aftermath. Uzumaki Faashi protected Karen behind him. And handed Karen a set of kunai. She seriously said to Karen. Karen, observe the enemy. Calm down and use your innate Kagura heart eye. Yes, Mom. Karen nodded heavily. Kagura heart eye? A familiar term made Kakashi stunned, and he looked at Karen. He remembered that his teacher's wife also knew this technique. He found that the red-haired little girl had closed her eyes and seemed to be trying hard to sense something. Karen's chakra was surging. Although not particularly strong, the chakra fluctuations were visible to the naked eye, making people marvel at the innate physical talent of the Uzumaki clan. Well, there are so many bad guys. The opening of Kagura's mind's eye made Karen's little face start to turn pale, but she still insisted and said what she saw. Pops, Mom, there are so many bad guys. They're over there. Karen pointed ahead. Seeing this, Mami thought to herself, is this little red-haired girl a sensory ninja? What a powerful sense of perception. There is no ordinary person in the Whitebeard pirate group. She looked in the direction Karen was pointing. That's the direction of Hidden Mist Village. Matru Mummy's face was solemn. She was a bit embarrassed. I'm in trouble. I won't have to fight against the ninjas in my own village, right? Little girl, how close are they? Matru Mummy immediately asked. 600 meters. Karen just finished speaking, and immediately corrected. No, it's 550 meters. Only 500 meters. No, it's less than 500 meters. Huh? Karen suddenly opened her eyes. She sat on the ground as if she had collapsed. Gasping for breath. Sorry, Pops. This is my limit. Karen apologized to Whitebeard. Gorara. Whitebeard laughed heartily, not blaming Karen. He said, well done. You are worthy of being my Whitebeard's daughter. With such a talented ability, you will definitely be able to become a famous pirate in the future. Don't be too self-deprecating. Stupid daughter. Karen's tired eyes gradually showed a bit of brightness. When she looked at Whitebeard, she was full of admiration. Less than 500 meters, there is no time to set up traps. It seems that they don't want to give us this time either. Kakashi said solemnly, the assassins who are good at assassination, they won't want to fight us hard, will they? There is a possibility. Matru Mummy said with a complex expression, the behavior and temperament of the fourth Mizukage are becoming more and more unpredictable. Anything is possible. Now that things have come to this, I can only fight to the death. Matru Mummy said with a murderous look, the only way to break the game is to hold the fourth Mizukage hostage, or kill him. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a series of inaudible sounds came into the ears. Everyone just looked in the direction of the sound and could see that in the dense fog of the forest, there were densely packed shadows. The closest distance between the two sides is only a dozen meters, and the farthest is only a few tens to hundreds of meters. The atmosphere of killing spread throughout the forest. The petite fourth Mizukage, Karadachi Agura, also came in person. A hint of imperceptible red light flashed in the depths of his eyes, and he muttered to himself, Whitebeard. His voice was not just his own. There was also the voice of another stranger. Karadachi Agura hooked the corner of his mouth. Let's see if a man like you can turn Hidden Mist Village upside down. The man who have defeated Orochimaru and Sasori, don't let me down. Let me see how strong you are. The voice speaking was so low that only he could hear it. Even the Hidden Mist Village Anbu standing near him couldn't hear it. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Whitebeard. There are many people on the side of Hidden Mist Village. Looking around, there are hundreds of people. There are well-known figures in the ninja world such as Karadachi Agura, Ao, Kisame, Zabusa, Biwajazo. And ninjas who don't have much fame in the ninja world, but their strength seems not bad. A figure was weaving through the forest. In less than a few breaths of time, Whitebeard and others were completely surrounded by Hidden Mist Village, and the murderous aura spreading in the forest seemed to become substantial. Whitebeard. Karadachi Agura jumped down from the tray. His voice was clear and bright this time, and the killing intent contained in his tone was not concealed. Killing 4 Hidden Mist Village Chunin, killing one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, you dare to stay in the land of water, and even dare to approach Hidden Mist Village. You're really bold and reckless. Humphrey. Our Hidden Mist Village is not like Hidden Grass Village. Every word Karadachi Agura said didn't quite fit his character. In front of those who knew him, he was like a stranger. And you, Matru Mummy. Karadachi Agura looked at Matru Mummy, who had a complex expression on her face in front of Whitebeard, and said coldly, I didn't expect you to betray the village and become a Hidden Mist Village traitor who leads the way for the enemy. You disappoint me. He said he was disappointed, but there was no disappointment in his tone. And he labeled Matru Mummy as a traitor without hesitation. Without doing any investigation, he didn't even ask Matru Mummy a question. Matru Mummy. Matru Mummy? Ao from the group of Hidden Mist Village ninjas was stunned. He looked at Matru Mummy incredulously. Didn't she fail? How could she be with Whitebeard? Could it be that she succeeded, but why would she bring Whitebeard over? The situation was a bit beyond Ao's expectations. He couldn't figure it out at all. Wait. Who are those two? Ao had already taken off the eye patch on his face, and his Byakugan allowed him to see many things in the foggy forest of the land of water. Good eyes. He saw Kakashi Uchiha and Shizue Uchiha. However, both of them had already taken off the Hidden Leaf Village forehead protectors on their bodies, and he was not quite sure if they were the real people for a while. Huh? Sharingan? Ao discovered Kakashi's Sharingan, which couldn't be turned off at all. It's him. Kakashi Hatake. Ao was shocked. What's going on? Not only did Matru Mummy not follow the plan that was set in advance, she brought Whitebeard over in advance, and she also brought Kakashi Hatake from Hidden Leaf Village. How did she bring Kakashi Hatake? If he is really Kakashi Hatake, then the other person who looks very familiar, could it be Hidden Leaf Village's Shizue of the body flicker? Out took a deep breath. But then, a sentence from the fourth Mizukage, Karadachi Yagura, made Ao have to interrupt the miscellaneous thoughts in his mind. It seems that the ninja world has forgotten the terror of the blood mist. Karadachi Yagura's voice entered every Hidden Mist Village ninja ears. Then let's use the Destroyer of Nations with a bounty of 100 million to make a sacrifice. Let the ninja world feel the fear brought by the blood mist again. Go. Kill Whitebeard. Chapter 102, Conqueror's Haki. The quake power that changes the heaven and earth. Whitebeard. Matru Mummy didn't care that she had inexplicably become a rogue ninja. She hurriedly said to Whitebeard. There are many of our people among the Hidden Mist Village ninjas. Eh? Matru Mummy found that Whitebeard had ignored her words. She watched as Whitebeard took a step over her and stood in front of her, stepping on a puddle of water. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr staggering. After looking around, a smile appeared at the corner of Whitebeard's mouth. So, this is one of the 5 major ninja villages in your ninja world? It's indeed a bit stronger than that hidden grass village. But his words didn't sound like praise, it was more like a hint of mockery rather than an expression of admiration. Humphrey. How dare you laugh so arrogantly here? Water style, water shock wave. A group of ninjas who revered the 4th Mizukage's blood mist policy took the lead. After hearing Karatachi Yagura's order, they didn't hesitate and decisively formed seals. As many as dozens of hidden mist village ninjas acted at the same time, all of them using the same ninjutsu. In an instant, waves of water surged towards Whitebeard like a lake pouring out, and even the trees in the forest were easily washed away by the water flow. Tree trunks with a diameter of at least 1 meter were blasted into wood chips by the water flow. Water style, water shock wave. A figure appeared in front of Whitebeard in the blink of an eye. It was Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi's Sharingan was spinning crazily, and the ninjutsu he used was also water shock wave. 2 large and small water flows collided fiercely until both sides exploded halfway. A lot of water splashed. Although the ninjutsu used by Kakashi alone was not enough to counter the ninjutsu used by dozens of ninjas. He only needed to break through one of them. Then he could make dozens of hidden mist villages water shock waves surge to the left and right, achieving the purpose of breaking the surface with a point, and letting the opponent's attack retreat. Indeed, this was the case. The 2 water flows that poured out like a large lake surged to the left and right of Whitebeard, washing away the trees on both sides. Broken wood splashed wildly. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Kakashi took a deep breath. He said, "Whitebeard, you are our key to breaking the situation. Whether we can break out or not depends on you. You can't let yourself be dragged down by these people, and your physical strength shouldn't be wasted in such a place, otherwise, it will be troublesome later. Although there are many of them, they can't act at the same time, otherwise they will hurt their own people." Kakashi analyzed calmly. "In such an encirclement, the enemies we face at the same time will not exceed 100 people. We should." Huh? Before he finished his sentence, Kakashi's pupil shrank. He quickly took out a kunai and blocked it to the left. Clang. The crisp sound of metal collision accompanied the appearance of a figure. Kakashi recognized who it was at a glance. One of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Kubikiribacho, Biwajazo. I didn't expect I could meet Kakashi of the Sharingan here. Biwajazo held Kubikiribacho in his hand. The blade of Kubikiribacho collided with Kakashi's kunai, igniting a burst of sparks. Biwajazo squinted his eyes and showed an interested smile. "You ninjas from Hidden Leaf Village, do you want to join Whitebeard? To invade our Hidden Mist Village and start a war? Can I say this is an unavoidable coincidence? And this has nothing to do with Hidden Leaf Village." Sweat dripped from Kakashi's forehead. But he wasn't sure if it was his illusion. He always felt that the other party didn't use all their strength. This Biwajazo is confused. What does he mean? At the same time, the sound of breaking through the air came quickly. It was the shuriken thrown by other Hidden Mist Village ninjas. Looking around, a large number of shuriken came like rain. It was like a downpour. And it was a deadly rain. Fire style, multiple phoenix fire chloride. Shishui's voice sounded abruptly, each kunai and shuriken wrapped in flames. They went straight to the shuriken thrown out by Hidden Mist Village ninjas. And caused an explosion. Bunches of firelight bloomed in midair. The explosive firelight, with shock waves, knocked all the surrounding shuriken away. Fire style, Great Fire Dragon Jutsu. Shishui didn't stop. He quickly formed seals, and a huge fire dragon spouted from his mouth, going straight to the 4th Mizukage, Karadachi Yagura. The raging flames made many Hidden Mist Village ninjas change their faces. Water style, Great Shark Bullet Jutsu. A shark formed by water chakra emerged from Hidden Mist Village and collided with Shizue's great fire dragon. Boom. The explosion caused by the two large-scale ninjutsu caused many mist shadow ninjas to be blown away, and a large amount of steam formed a hot dense fog, making people's skin start to slowly turn red. The area within 100 meters seemed to become a sauna, making people sweat like rain. This level of battle is not something Chunin can get involved in. Kisame carried his big sword, Seimata, and said emotionlessly, "Those below Jonin, just get out of here." He didn't know why Karatachi Yagura sent Chunin here. Does he want to use quantity versus quality? But these people are not enough, right? Then, Kisame's gaze looked at Shizue Uchiha from afar. A ninja who is good at fire style? He grinned, "My Seimata likes you very much." Maître Mummy watched the battle erupt in an instant. Her eyebrows were furrowed. And at this moment, Maître Mummy suddenly flashed and reached out to grab someone's wrist in the fog. She could see that the person's palm was holding a kunai. "Zabusa, your silent killing technique is getting more and more advanced." Maître Mummy looked at Zabusa, who was close at hand, with cold eyes. She said, "But it's still a bit raw." Zabuza let O to a TSK sound. "Unexpectedly, you took the lead to rebel," Zabuza hinted. "I didn't want to do it so soon, but there was a little accident. I wanted to wait for half a year before taking action, but this Mr. Whitebeard, he can't wait that long." Maître Mummy said. "Do you think you can kill the Mizukage with that big guy?" Zabuza broke free from Maître Mummy's restraint. Maître Mummy said softly, "In the end, if we never try, how will we know? There are countless people in Hidden Mist Village who have their own plans. Karatachi Yagura's blood mist policy over the years. He has long lost the hearts of the people. Only a very small number of Hidden Mist Village ninjas would choose to be loyal to him. Ninjas like Biwajazo, Zabusa, who had long been rebellious, they even had the leisure to chat with Kakashi, Maître Mummy. With Whitebeard's astonishing observation Haki. He can take all this into account. Gorura. This ninja village is really united." Whitebeard laughed heartily, looking straight at Karatachi Yagura. "This little ninja can't control them, can he?" "Humphrey." Karatachi Yagura snorted coldly. "Stop talking nonsense." Karatachi Yagura's cold eyes fell on Whitebeard, their gazes collided in midair. He said, "You are already surrounded by Chunin and Jonin from the Hidden Mist Village. As a pirate, you can only bark here." The smile on Whitebeard's face did not diminish. Instead, it grew stronger. "Is your confidence to fight against the Whitebeard pirates coming from the weak ninja kids of the Hidden Mist Village?" When this sentence came out of Whitebeard's mouth, everyone present was shocked. An inexplicable sense of palpitation enveloped everyone present, including Kakashi and others. In the next moment, a terrifying aura burst out from Whitebeard, visible black arcs of electricity burst in the fog, as if you could hear the bzz sound of electric arcs. The sudden eruption of Conqueror's Haki seemed to be substantial, scattering all the surrounding fog. It made every Hidden Mist Village ninja's figure clear. A group of Hidden Mist Village ninjas felt a strong wind blowing in their faces. The consciousness in their brains went buzz. Their body movements stopped immediately. Their consciousness was like being trampled by an invisible palm, the sober look in their pupils visibly faded. Their eyes rolled up. Plop. When the first Hidden Mist Village ninja foamed at the mouth and fell from the tree branch, it was like triggering a domino effect. The second, the third, the 100th, the 300th. All the Hidden Mist Village ninjas below Jonin instantly lost consciousness. Some of them fell face down in embarrassment, some swayed and collapsed on the ground, some stumbled and crashed into the water ditch. Looking around, all the Hidden Mist Village ninjas have lost their combat effectiveness. They were unconscious instantly. They didn't even know what happened in the second before they passed out. What's going on? Biwajazo's pupils shrank. He held the Kubika Ribacho with both hands to suppress Kakashi's kunai, and took the time to look back at the Hidden Mist Village ninjas who had fallen behind him. The terrifying aura that burst out from Whitebeard made him, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, feel a sense of horror. Biwajazo admitted that for a short moment. His legs were trembling for half a second. Cold sweat overflowed from his forehead, sliding down his face. The look in his eyes was so incredible. His face was full of horror. That man. Kisame looked at Whitebeard incredulously. In his sight, Whitebeard stood with a sword in one hand. That overwhelming aura was like a sea god. Is it killing intent? He also saw many companions fall. Kisame even saw that there were less than 30 people left in Hidden Mist Village who could still stand. And of these less than 30 people, half of them were standing with a strong support. Kisame was unconsciously starting to get excited. His grinning face was trembling. What a terrifying man. He looked at Whitebeard, his face showing a long-lost fighting spirit. I really want to fight one-on-one with such a man. In this way, even if I die, I will have no regrets. The Conqueror's haki from Whitebeard washed over Kisame's heart, causing a complex and irregular blood flow throughout his entire body. My chakra is affected. Kisame muttered to himself, just by momentum, it can affect a person's mind, spirit, and even body, and can affect physical things in reality. For some reason, Kisame had a strange thought in his heart. If he followed such a man, it would be much better than following Karatachi Yagura, right? Bang. On the other side, Momokizabuza was knocked back by a punch from Maitre Mummy. As he retreated, he almost fell to his knees. But he still clenched his teeth and stood up with a strong will, trying to restore the firmness of his knees. His palm holding the kunai was all sweaty. When he looked at Whitebeard, his eyes were full of shock. You. Zabuza wanted to ask Maitre Mummy, but found that Maitre Mummy's reaction was the same as his. Maitre Mummy was also shocked. Obviously, this was the first time she felt Whitebeard's Conqueror's haki. But she obviously didn't know what it was. She only knew it was a kind of momentum. A terrifyingly strong momentum. Is this the foundation of Whitebeard Sama's, who dares to attack Hidden Mist Village now? Maitre Mummy finally understood. She realized that if Whitebeard relied on such a technique, he wouldn't be afraid of hundreds or thousands of ninjas in Hidden Mist Village at all. All the ninjas below Jonin were unconscious. How terrifying is this? Kakashi-senpai, what is this? Shizue didn't feel much, because Whitebeard controlled it very delicately this time and didn't use Conqueror's haki to attack Shizue and Kakashi and others. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Kakashi leaped backward, distancing himself from the peculiarly strong Biwajazo. He explained to Shizue in a low voice. This seems to be a strange ability technique of Whitebeard. It can unleash a momentum strong enough to make people unconscious. Kakashi-senpai, it seems that not only make people unconscious. Shizue looked up at the blue sky. The clouds thousands of meters high in the sky have been dispersed. His tone was somewhat trance when he said this. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr slashing of Conqueror's Hockey sounded as if it could pierce the eardrum and stab a person's soul. Hidden Mist Village kids. Don't naively think that the Whitebeard pirates and those small pirates in your ninja world are the same. When the Whitebeard pirates want to invade and occupy a kingdom, even the 5 old guys in the world government have to hold a meeting to decide whether to abandon that country or not. Whitebeard recounted the glorious achievements of his pirate group. He looked at Karatachi Yagura's ugly face with a mocking look. Hidden Mist Village brat, where is your killing intent just now? The moment Whitebeard's words fell, he suddenly burst out, holding Murakamagiri with both hands instead of one. After turning a wonderful knife flower, Whitebeard didn't hesitate and slashed at Karatachi Yagura. Swish. This naginata perfectly fits the breath of air. Trees, stones, soil and other things. Everything that obstructs it in front is cut open. The slashing attack that tore through the air flew out unstoppable. The gale caused by the slashing attack even threw some unconscious Hidden Mist Village ninjas high into the air. It's unknown how far they will be thrown. But when they fall, they will definitely break at least a bone. Is it an instant ninjutsu? Karatachi Yagura was suddenly shocked. He felt a faint pain in his back as if he had PTSD. The imperceptible red light in his eyes became slightly clearer. But don't underestimate me. He saw a water mirror hidden in the palm of his hand. This was a ninjutsu he had been hiding for several minutes. Water style, water mirror technique. The water mirror in the palm of his hand quickly enlarged, becoming a mirror with a diameter of at least 8 meters. An identical Whitebeard actually crawled out of this water mirror. An identical Whitebeard also held Murakamagiri in his hand and slashed at the real Whitebeard. The real Whitebeard also slashed at the identical Whitebeard. The 2 slashing attacks collided in midair. The slashing attack burst out in the process of burning, and the layers of air waves rolled up, and the slashing debris splashed out, causing the ground to be cut inch by inch. Pucci, a poor Hidden Mist Village ninja, was affected. That was a special Jonin from Hidden Mist Village. He had originally been trying hard to keep himself conscious and not be stunned by Whitebeard, but the next moment the terrifying aftermath of the slashing collision came, and his entire body was engulfed in it. In an instant, he was shredded into a sky full of blood mist. He didn't even have time to scream. Boom. With a loud rumble, the 2 slashing attacks were cancelled out, and the nearby area was devastated. This guy's casual slash is approaching the power of an S-rank ninjutsu? Karatachi Yagura's eyelids jumped. He hasn't shown his vibration power yet. That's the ability that defeated Orochimaru and Sasori. Karatachi Yagura's consciousness had long been controlled by another consciousness. That's why he would have thoughts that didn't match his identity. You're quite capable. Hidden Mist Village kid. Whitebeard grinned. You ninjas have a lot of tricks. But this ninjutsu, there's a limit to it, right? The moment Whitebeard's words fell, everyone had a bad feeling. Retreat quickly. Ao, who had activated Byakugan, was puzzled as to why he couldn't see the chakra fluctuation in Whitebeard's body, but he saw that Whitebeard was ready to exert his power. He was sweating profusely and hurriedly shouted at the Jonin from the same village. Edward Newgate, the destroyer of nations, is about to exert his power. Just then, Whitebeard's right fist was wrapped in white light. This kind of visual effect always reminds people of Oanaki's particle style. The next second Whitebeard showed them with practical actions that his vibration power was not on the same level as Oanaki's. Whitebeard punched the air. That is a light punch, but it made the air in front of him appear to be shattered like glass, and the clear sound of glass shattering made everyone's face change drastically. Kakashi reacted quickly and grabbed Shizue's shoulder. He hurriedly pulled Shizue back and retreat together. No one knew better than him the power of this light punch. That's the ability that defeated the third Hokage, Shimura Denzo, Orochimaru, and even destroyed the Hidden Grass Village. A group of Hidden Mist Village ninjas were not as quick to react as Kakashi. Buzz. The moment they heard the sound of glass shattering, they felt the world lose its color. Until the impact carried by the vibration power hit them head-on, the expressions of the Hidden Mist Village ninjas changed drastically again. They opened their mouths and vomited a bunch of blood with fragments of internal organs. In front of this airquake, their stomachs were extremely fragile. The clothes and ninja items on their bodies were shattered in the first place. The sound of crackling fractures came from the bones in their bodies. Their 7 orifices weren't bleeding. They were spouting blood. Chapter 103, Whitebeard vs. Tailed Beast Jinchuriki. Armament Hockey. The moment Biwajuzo, who was holding the beheading sword, heard the sound of glass shattering, the alarm in his heart gave him a strong warning. He was so startled that he hurriedly raised the Kubik Iribicho to block in front of him. But he found that it was of no use at all. Puff. The intense vibration impact made every cell in his body feel like it had been hit ruthlessly. A mouthful of old blood spurted out of his mouth. His expression was extremely grim and twisted. His entire body, along with the beheading sword, which weighed nearly 200 pounds, was blown backwards like a feather in a typhoon, breaking 2 trees in succession behind him. For every tree he broke, several bones in his body broke, and the palm of his hand holding the beheading sword involuntarily loosened. Until, his entire body crashed into a rock far behind him. Puff. Another mouthful of old blood spurted out. Cough. He weakly slumped his body. His body was in severe pain. His consciousness was hazy. It's a terrible mess. If I had known, I would have agreed to that woman called Conan earlier. That way, I wouldn't have to suffer here today. Biwajuzo only managed to say this sentence intermittently. The pain and fatigue from his body made his consciousness increasingly hazy and drowsy. He tried to open his eyes to look at the figure of Whitebeard in the distance, but found that he had been blown far away. He couldn't see Whitebeard's over 6-meter tall body with his naked eyes at all. He could only barely see the dust rising in the sky in front of him. This must be at least 1,000 meters away, right? Biwajuzo groaned. He passed out. Bang. Kisame's body slammed hard into a lake. He, who was originally very good at water style, couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of blood when his back hit the surface of the lake. The bandage wrapped around the Seimata in his hand had long been shattered. Kisame's bloodshot eyes were filled with disbelief. Why doesn't his technique use chakra? Kisame had been prepared to absorb the opponent's chakra with Seimata, but when the vibration force surged up, he found that there was no chakra in the vibration force. He was stunned for a moment. It touched his knowledge blind spot. Seimata? Kisame ignored his serious injuries and looked at Seimata in his hand. Seimata's big tongue was all sticking out. It looked like it was about to faint. Don't look like that. Quickly lend me the stored chakra, merge it with me. Otherwise. Kisame's consciousness began to blur, otherwise. I'll have to fall asleep. Seimata seemed to have life. It really merged with the Kisame. The body of the ghost shark gradually begins to undergo changes. If he initially looked somewhat like a half-human, half-fish hybrid, he now appears even more like a combination of both. Kisame's injuries also began to heal rapidly at the moment of merging with Seimata, and he quickly recovered. He broke out of the water. Huff. The panting Kisame gradually grinned. What a terrifying man. Whitebeard. Ow, clutching his broken arm, knelt on the ground and dry-heaved crazily. He was the first one from Hidden Mist Village ninjas to react. He was also the first to make a defense in advance. But looking at his current situation, he's not much better than Biwajuzo and Kisame. Ow wanted to stand up, but his legs went soft, and the pain made him kneel down. He looked down with cold sweat. He found that his left leg. It's actually broken too. True mummy. What kind of monster did you bring back? Ao's mouth cornered a bitter smile. Did you forget to tell him that there are his allies on the side of Hidden Mist Village? Al somewhat understood why Maitre Mummy chose to take action in advance. With such a terrifying combat power, even if all the sophisticated plans are abandoned and the coup is launched in the most brutal way, it's not impossible. The problem is, such a powerful man, agreeing to ally and instigate a coup, is it really just for that little bit of petty profit? Ao didn't think it was likely. That was a man known as a destroyer of nations. Money probably seemed like a shit in his eyes. He chose to accept Maitre Mummy Ming's invitation. What he was after must be more important than money. I heard. The Hidden Grass Village has long been flying the flag of the Whitebeard pirates. The few surviving ninjas in the entire ninja village, each and every one of them, call themselves the running dogs under the Whitebeard pirates. Al's face changed. This is bad. The situation that happened in the Hidden Grass Village on the other side of the ninja world, it wouldn't happen in their Hidden Mist Village, right? What a joke. Hidden Mist Village is one of the 5 major ninja villages in the ninja world. If they become puppets of the Whitebeard pirates like the Hidden Grass Village, becoming playthings in the hands of a group of pirates, wouldn't that be a mess? Cough cough. Ao coughed heavily a few times, his face showing a bit of bitterness, and also a bit of helplessness, but the thing has already happened. It depends on who is stronger between Whitebeard and the 4th Mizukage. Zabuza, who is not yet one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, is hanging on a shaky big tree. It's not that he wants to hang on the tree, it's that he can't move his whole body. My rib has pierced into my lung. Zabuza is covered in all kinds of abrasions and contusions. There are also gashes on his skin where it has been shattered. The entire person seems to have been dredged out from a pool of blood, with an expression and aura more languid than the others. After all, he is not the him from 6 years later. Damn, it hurts. Am I going to die? I really can't stand it. Zabuza's consciousness is a bit hazy, he feels that he is on the boundary line between life and death. One step across that and he can survive, one step wrong and he is dead. If he was a little weaker, maybe he would have been knocked out by Whitebeard's conqueror's hockey and been blown away by the first sword, and he wouldn't have been affected by the shock wave. The earliest group of Hidden Mist Village ninjas who were blown away by the explosion shockwave of the slash attack, are unlucky, but also lucky. At least, they didn't face the power of the Quake fruit head-on. And Zabuza, who was directly affected by the Quake fruit, is a good example. If I die like this death is too ugly. Zabuza can feel the chill on his body, he knows that his clothes are probably shattered by the shock. But he can't move. Until his consciousness is hazy. His eyes rolled back. He passed out. This wasn't Shizue Uchiha's first encounter with the Whitebeard's vibration power. But he found that no matter how many times he saw this power, he couldn't help but feel a great shock and emotion in his heart. This is the power that shatters the atmosphere. Shizue took a deep breath. Everything in front of him was shrouded in dust, and it was difficult to see the situation ahead with the naked eye. But even if he couldn't see clearly, he knew that ordinary Hidden Mist Village ninjas couldn't withstand Whitebeard's punch. The range affected by this punch is very large. It is difficult to withstand from this strange technique. It's even harder to avoid it. If this punch falls in Hidden Leaf Village, more than half of Hidden Leaf Village will be destroyed, right? Shizue's forehead was sweating. Does that mean that Whitebeard didn't use his full strength when he fought against the 3rd Hokage in Hidden Leaf Village? Or is it to say, he is not using his full strength now? Shizue found it hard to imagine how terrifying the destruction would be if Whitebeard used the power of vibration with all his might. Shizue murmured, who is stronger, Whitebeard or Uchiha clan's ancestor? He thought about it, he couldn't figure it out. He turned his head to look at Kakashi and others, and found that whether it was Kakashi's predecessor or the younger Naruto, Uzumaki Karen, they all seemed very calm in the face of Whitebeard's powerful power. On the contrary, Shizue Uchiha of the teleportation jutsu of Hidden Leaf Village, seemed a bit rustic. Like seeing such a big scene for the first time. Maybe, her reaction is similar to mine. Shizue's gaze fell on Maitre Mummy. Maitre Mummy's reaction was indeed exactly the same as Shizue's, and the changes on their faces were very similar. But the shock in Maitre Mummy's heart was even greater than Shizue's. Is this Whitebeard? She knew Whitebeard was very powerful, otherwise she wouldn't have tried to ally with Whitebeard and wanted to form an alliance with the Whitebeard pirates. But Maitre Mummy didn't expect. In this world of ninjas, who would expect that someone could be so ridiculously strong, so that the combat strength of Hidden Mist Village seemed like paper in front of this man. Merely relying on momentum alone stunned all the Chunin. And finally, add a light punch. All the special Jonin, and unconscious Chunin who were shocked and flew out. I don't know how many people will die at the hands of Whitebeard. I know there will be bloodshed here, and many people will die. The entire Hidden Mist Village needs to be brought to the brink of destruction before it can be reborn. But the question is Isn't the death toll a bit too high? Matru Mummy was in a daze. She thought she could control the situation, but found that she couldn't control any detail of the situation. Right, the fourth Mizukage. Matru Mummy immediately cast her gaze into the thick dust ahead. Is he dead? If the person who caused the real decline of Hidden Mist Village is killed, then no matter how many sacrifices are made, it is worth it. However, Matru Mummy's pupil shrank. She could feel that in the thick dust, a very evil chakra was surging. That seems to be not good. She couldn't help but exclaim in alarm. Whitebeard Dano, be careful. The fourth Mizukage is not dead. He is a perfect Jinchuriki of the three tails. He is using the power of the tailed beast. Hey! Hey! A strange panting sound came from within the dust, so loud that it didn't sound like a human panting. It was more like a terrifying monster, panting rapidly in anger. Edward Newgate, Whitebeard. Unforgivable. With a roar that was extremely irritating, an invisible sound wave spread in all directions, blowing away a large amount of dust, revealing the figure of Karatachi Yagura. No one can leave alive in my current state. Karatachi Yagura's appearance had undergone earth-shaking changes. A large amount of chakra enveloped his body. The visible chakra, like rolling magma, transformed into the shape of a strange monster. The size was also more than a dozen times larger than Karatachi Yagura's petite body, about the same size as a rhinoceros. A pair of eyes that couldn't see any emotions, only the different colors that were shining white. Karatachi Yagura's limbs were on the ground, and the three thick tails were constantly swinging behind him. The momentum was also rising step by step. I am invincible in this form. Karatachi Yagura's voice also changed from a tender boy's voice to a hoarse voice. No enemy can survive from my form, even you, Whitebeard, will not be an exception. His bodily changes made both Kakashi and Shishui's pupil shrink. The power of the tailed beast? Is this the chakra cloak of the tailed beast? Shishui was surprised. Is this a perfect Jinchuriki? Three tails. A shadow flashed in Kakashi's eyes. Karatachi Yagura's form brought up his bad memories. Rin. The image of being pierced through the chest once. It was hard to get rid of in Kakashi's mind. TSK. It's that guy with three tails. Kurama's voice sounded in Naruto's mind. TSK. I didn't expect this guy to actually recognize such a weak human being. It's simply a disgrace to us tailed beasts. Kurama's tone was full of disdain. Big Fox, do you know him? Naruto was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but ask curiously. Kurama spoke bluntly. Like me, it is also a tailed beast. Don't look at this guy with three tails, it can't even compare to a single hair of mine, the 9 tails. Naruto frowned. Big Fox, why do you like to brag so much? He is Mizukage of a village after all. You say you are stronger than him, why don't you come out and defeat him? Hey! Stinky brat, do you think I am a fool? Kurama immediately poked through Naruto's little mind. Your provocation tactics are useless against me. Uzumaki Fuashi was staring intently at Karatachi Yagura. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, she was familiar with the tailed beasts. The unique sealing technique passed down by the Uzumaki clan, like the Sharingan, is also considered one of the nemesis of the tailed beasts. A golden chain drilled out of her palm. That was a chain made of chakra. As long as the situation is a little wrong, even if she has to stake her life, she will seal the tailed beast. Even if she can only seal the other for a few seconds, as long as it gives Whitebeard an advantage, what's the harm in sacrificing her own life? Stupid daughter. Suddenly, Whitebeard's voice came into Uzumaki Fuashi's mind. Gorara. I see your will to die in your eyes. Uzumaki Fuashi was taken aback and looked up, only to find that Whitebeard had never put the fourth Mizukage in his eyes. At this time, Whitebeard actually turned his head to look at her. Don't worry. Whitebeard showed a confident smile. This smile also made Uzumaki Fuashi calm down. I am your pops, am the emperor of the new world. Edward Newgate. Whitebeard, who said this sentence, was full of pride. Also at this time, Karatachi Yagura took the initiative to attack Whitebeard. Bang! With the robust limbs formed by the tail beast chakra, he stomped heavily on the ground, and the ground under his feet was stomped out a not small pit. An invisible wave of air blew away a large amount of gravel on the ground. Karatachi Yagura's body rushed to Whitebeard like a projectile, and a black iron rod with a hook actually drilled out of his body and very accurately hooked Whitebeard's wrist. He tried hard to hook, wanting to drag Whitebeard and smash him on the ground. But he found that Whitebeard's strange strength was astonishing. He couldn't move him at all. Humphrey. Rising coral attack. Karatachi Yagura reacted quickly, and a tail fiercely inserted into the ground. In an instant, a large amount of red coral rose from the ground. Each piece of coral was as hard as a rock. The impact of the sudden rise even lifted Whitebeard up. This is not any kind of ninjutsu. This is purely the power of the tailed beast. Water style, water collapsing bullet. A water style ninjutsu that does not require hand seals was released by Karatachi Yagura. A large amount of water vapor condensed above Whitebeard, forming a large water ball with a diameter of more than 10 meters. Boom, boom, boom. The water ball fell straight down towards Whitebeard. It exploded immediately. The ground under Whitebeard was smashed into a pit, and the splashing water was like sharp water knives, washing out a gap in some of the random stones around. But at this moment, a huge arm suddenly stretched out from the splashing water everywhere. The arm was muscular. The skin was intact. Karatachi Yagura was caught off guard. The black iron hook that came out of his body was firmly grasped by Whitebeard. Karatachi Yagura then realized that Whitebeard's wrist had already broken free, and when he wanted to pull the iron hook back, he found that he couldn't pull it back. He, who has the power of the tailed beast, is not as strong as Whitebeard in terms of strength. Hidden Mist Village brat, are you trying to give me a bath? Gorara. Whitebeard teased with a smile. Then, his arm exerted a sudden force. Karatachi Yagura's body was easily swung by Whitebeard. With a swing from Whitebeard. Bang! The ground began to tremble slightly, and Karatachi Yagura's body was slammed directly onto the ground. The impact of the massive force made the chakra cloak on his body somewhat unstable. Before Karatachi Yagura could stand up, Whitebeard's huge fist had already come crashing down. Bang! A fierce punch landed on Karatachi Yagura's head. Even without using armament hockey, it made Karatachi Yagura's brain shocked. His vision was a bit blurry. Damn it! He cursed under his breath, and the three tails shot out, accompanied by the crisp sound of breaking through the air, stabbing straight at Whitebeard. Whitebeard didn't dodge or avoid, letting himself be hit by those three tails, and even had the leisure to ask. Hidden Mist Village brat, haven't you eaten? Humphrey. Karatachi Yagura sneered. You're too careless, Whitebeard. You don't understand what the power of a tailed beast is. Whitebeard suddenly noticed. The three parts of his body that were hit by Karatachi Yagura's chakra tail actually began to grow some strange hard objects. Coral? Whitebeard recognized at a glance that these white objects were coral, and he could feel that these corals were spreading continuously. In just a split second, half of his body was covered with coral. His whole person was trapped in coral. Good opportunity. Karatachi Yagura quickly got up while he had the chance. Just as he was about to make a move, he suddenly noticed that the air seemed to vibrate slightly. What? Karatachi Yagura's pupils, hidden within the chakra cloak, shrank. He watched as the coral covering Whitebeard's body began to crack. Bang! A large amount of coral debris exploded and flew out. Whitebeard's body was revealed. Compared to the fruitability of that freezing brat from the Navy, your coral is still a bit undercooked. Whitebeard grinned and gave a sharp critique. Let me, dear, open your annoying coral. Whitebeard fiercely slashed out with his sword. The blade of Murakamagiri was extremely black. Enveloped in armament hockey. Chapter 104, Tailed Beast Bomb vs. Quake Fruit. Obito Uchiha. The sword that Whitebeard slashed out made Karatachi Yagura's heart tighten, and three thick tails stretched forward, with chakra surging. Water style, circular water shield. A shield-like water mirror covered Karatachi Yagura's body, and the next second, the blade of Murakamagiri had already slashed on the water shield. What? Karatachi Yagura's eyes widened a bit, because his ninjutsu was mercilessly cut in half by Whitebeard's sword. The huge blade of Murakamagiri was close at hand. It fell on the tailed beast's chakra coat. The chakra cloak of tailed beast transformation, even the exploding tags can't. Karatachi Yagura's words were not finished. He watched as the huge blade of Murakamagiri cut through the chakra coat. The blade of Murakamagiri was less than 5 centimeters away from his nose, and the airflow rolled by the blade was even sharper than the blade itself. Karatachi Yagura's nose hurt. Blood spurted out. His nose and upper lip were actually cut from top to bottom by the rolled-up airflow. The chakra coat of the tailed beast is indeed very hard, but Whitebeard's deep-seated armament hockey is even sharper, and the edge of the great sword Murakamagiri is unstoppable. Whitebeard. Karatachi Yagura let out a roar full of killing intent with a mouthful of pain, and a large amount of coral surged out of his body towards the blade of Murakamagiri. When Whitebeard calmly pulled out Murakamagiri, Karatachi Yagura took the opportunity to retreat and distanced himself from Whitebeard. Damn. Karatachi Yagura touched the gap in his nose and upper lip. He even felt one of his front teeth fall out. One of his front teeth was cut in half. Although the chakra of the tailed beast is helping his wounds heal quickly, the pain is real. He glared at Whitebeard with his eyes wide open. Whitebeard grinned. The coral wrapped around the blade of Murakamagiri was shattered by Whitebeard, and the sharp blade was intact. Water style, coral water dragon bullet. Karachi Yagura made a very funny gesture to put his claws together, and the speed of the seal even left an after image. He opened his mouth and spit out a huge water dragon. Under the almost endless supply of chakra from the tailed beast, the water dragon spit out by the water dragon bullet technique is outrageously large, and the ferocious dragon head is comparable to a wave on the sea. And the huge dragon head is even surrounded by clusters of coral, making it even more powerful than the usual water dragon bullet technique. Wherever it goes, the waves are surging. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Whitebeard slashed out with a sword, and the slashing sword aura was released, spanning half of the forest, and the flying slash tail reached 1,000 meters high in the sky. While cutting the coral water dragon bullet technique into two halves, the slash also went straight to Karatachi Yagura without diminishing its momentum. Karatachi Yagura was hit by the flying slash on the spot. The rhino-sized body, like a baseball being hit, the body broke the sound barrier and exploded the sonic cloud. He flew back crazily to an unknown distance, until he was slammed hard into a mountain range behind him. With a rumble and a loud noise, half of the mountain range collapsed. Puff! Karatachi Yagura, whose body was embedded in the mountain, vomited a mouthful of blood. The red glow in the deepest part of his eyes could no longer be hidden, and the Sharingan Ganjutsu was spinning crazily in his eyes. But this was obviously not his Sharingan. He didn't have a Sharingan, but someone had long ago applied a hidden Ganjutsu to him. The Hidden Mist Village thought that the Sharingan Ganjutsu he was under had long been lifted. In fact, there was a deeper layer of Ganjutsu hidden within. White-beard. Karatachi Yagura's voice sounded as if two people were speaking. His handsome face in distress began to change. His body was gradually becoming larger. Isabu. Karatachi Yagura's killing intent had become substantial, and his eyes were already a sea of red. Lend me all your power, I want to kill that Whitebeard. Just, use that move. The Mizukage in half-beast form was just cut off by a sword like that. Whitebeard slash, which penetrated a kilometer high in the sky and spread to half of the forest, made Shishui's forehead break out in a few drops of cold sweat. He even doubted that his own eye, forcibly open to the Susanoo, was not enough to cut Whitebeard's sword. It's normal. Kakashi was much calmer. He had also seen a lot of big scenes. Kakashi put his hands in his pockets, because he knew that at this time, he didn't need his help. Kakashi said, Shimura Denzo, who wants to take your eyes, is probably not much different from this fourth Mizukage, right? In front of Whitebeard, he is still like a baby. He wants to escape from Whitebeard, and even has to sacrifice and betray his own summoning beast. I feel that even if he escapes, he is probably not much different from being half dead. This is a man whose individual strength is enough to shake the ninja world, and the human sea tactics won't work much on him. Yeah. Shishui nodded in agreement. To carry out human sea tactics against Whitebeard, one must first pass the hurdle of Conqueror's Haki, and then the power of vibration. Just these two strange abilities of Whitebeard is enough to screen out 99.9% of the ninjas. Exaggerated to the extreme. Shishui recalled the incident of the third Hokage's defeat to Whitebeard. He murmured to himself, I'm not sure who's stronger between the third Hokage in his prime and Whitebeard. Kakashi really wanted to say, Whitebeard is definitely stronger. But to save face for the third Hokage, he said a hypocritical sentence. The third Hokage at his peak is a famous ninja in the ninja world, and is also known as the ninjutsu professor, known as the strongest Hokage in the history of Hidden Leaf Village. Whitebeard is ultimately a bit weaker than a peak third Hokage. No way. Grandpa Hokage is definitely not as good as Pops. Naruto's sudden interruption caught Kakashi's attention. Naruto's little face said seriously, although Grandpa Hokage is very powerful, I think Pops is more powerful than Grandpa Hokage. Maybe. Kakashi mourned for Sarutobi Hiruzen for a second. He knew that the old Naruto would not say such a thing. If it were a few months ago and you asked Naruto who is stronger between Whitebeard and the third Hokage, he would definitely be in a dilemma for a good while. But now, Naruto says this without hesitation. This shows that the bond between Naruto and the third Hokage has become increasingly shallow. Hokage, you are useless. Kakashi sighed secretly in his heart. For some reason he seemed a bit schadenfreude, as if he was very happy to see Naruto's changes. He was also quite happy to see the third Hokage defeated. Hey, brat. At this moment, Kurama's voice suddenly rang out again in Naruto's mind. Don't worry about who is stronger, Whitebeard or some broken third Hokage. The guy with 3 tails is going to use the Tail Beast Bomb. Tail Beast Bomb? Naruto was stunned. What is that? That's one of the Tail Beast's ultimate weapons. Kurama said here, with some pride, even a bit of arrogance in his tone. That's a technique that's even more powerful than your ninja's S-rank forbidden technique. As long as you compress your own chakra nature to an extreme, and condense it into a spherical shape according to the appropriate ratio of yin and yang, you can condense a very terrifying tailed beast bomb. In this world, no one. Cough cough. That is, no one can withstand the tailed beast bomb. Kurama lied a little in order to boast about the power of the tailed beast. It tells a little lie. Because many years ago there was a ridiculously strong guy who single-handedly caught its tailed beast bomb with a giant wooden man, and even used its tailed beast bomb as a weapon to press on it. This kind of black history can't be mentioned. Otherwise, it would be laughed at by the stinky brat. Brat. You just tear open the seal of the ceiling space, so that I can lend you the greatest power. Kurama shouted, although you are a very annoying brat, I don't want to die so soon. No. Naruto shook his head, I don't know how powerful your tailed beast bomb is, but I know Pops is very powerful. Naruto said firmly, Pops is definitely not weaker than the fourth Mizukage. When Naruto said this from his heart, the faces of the four ninjas next to him, Kakashi Hatake, Shizue Uchiha, Uzumaki Fuashi, and Maitru Mummy, all changed. All looked incredulously at the distant mountains. What kind of chakra fluctuation is that? Uzumaki Fuashi was surprised, can it be felt so clearly from so far away? It's the power of the tailed beast. Kakashi had already taken his hand out of his pocket, and a three-hooked Sharingan was slowly rotating. The fourth Mizukage, as expected, was not so easily killed. Shizue's Mangekyo Sharingan was full of evil and weirdness. He was frantically squeezing the chakra from his body to deal with special situations. At the same time, he also said, Kakashi-senpai, I have a bad feeling. If something happens next, I will directly use Susanoo. Is it that serious? Kakashi's eyelids jumped. All of them could feel the strange movement in the distance, and Whitebeard naturally could too. Even though Whitebeard is not a ninja. But the lingering breath in the distance. He could feel it clearly. Gorura. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes, so this is the tailed beast of the ninja world, a monster like the fox inside Naruto? Its reputation in the ninja world is indeed not in vain. The sword he just swung, if it were Saratobi Hiruzan, or Shimura Denzo, or Ochemaru, say sorry. Any one of these people, if they were to take that sword with their flesh, they would definitely die without a doubt. But the fourth Mizukage, who is a perfect Jinchuriki, withstood it, or he was healed by the tailed beast when he was seriously injured. A black ball? Whitebeard's powerful observation haki could just see that there was a very mini black ball in the distance. He could also see Karatachi Yagura walking out of the mountains, but Karatachi Yagura's appearance had changed again. Karatachi Yagura's size was more than 10 times larger than before. His already very ugly shape has now become even uglier, looking like a very deformed giant turtle. The huge head doesn't look like a turtle's head at all. There are 3 huge tails swinging behind him. Like a sea king crawling onto land. Of course. Compared to some sea kings that Whitebeard saw in the New World that are bigger than islands, Karatachi Yagura's current size is actually not too big. That ball. Whitebeard's mind suddenly flashed an image. A black sphere surging towards him with an irresistible force, a chakra beam that could tear everything apart, burning everything around it, causing a violent roar and explosion covering the entire forest, turning the entire forest into a flat ground in just a few seconds. Hey, hey, hey. Whitebeard's smile faded a bit. What a reckless hidden mist village brat. Doesn't he care about killing all his companions? Or does this brat not have the concept of companions at all? Whitebeard clenched more akamagiri. Buzz. With a buzzing sound, a vibration light wave was already covering Whitebeard's more akamagiri, which was a vibration light wave with a diameter of 2 meters. The moment it appeared, the pebbles under his feet were slightly trembling, and the ground faintly experienced a minor earthquake. Stupid son, hide behind me. Just as Whitebeard finished saying this, a tailed beast bomb from Karatachi Yagura and Three Tails Isabu was already coming fiercely. The tailed beast bomb spewed out from the mouth, turned into a destructive wave, heading straight for Whitebeard. The dazzling light from the wave made people's eyes hurt for a while, and wherever the tailed beast bomb passed, trees and the ground were all shattered. A lake in the forest was evaporated instantly when the tailed beast bomb passed by, and the creatures inside were roasted into charcoal. At the same time, Whitebeard's arms were bulging with veins, and the hilt of the Murakamagi he swung out was bent. A sword wrapped in a vibration light wave, brutally slashed on the atmosphere. Crack. The visual impact and ultimate destructive power caused by this sword are no less than the incoming tailed beast bomb. Boom. The vibration wave and the tailed beast bomb collided violently in midair. The vibration that could shatter everything and the beam that could shatter everything made everyone who was still conscious suddenly appeared white smoke in front of their eyes. The huge explosion caused by the violent collision of the two sides rose to the sky. A group of unlucky birds passing by hundreds of meters high in the sky were affected, and more than a dozen birds were crushed into powder on the spot. The surging gale, like invisible steel knives, cut out trenches in the sunken ground. Kakashi and others only felt their eyes and eardrums hurt. The next instant, it was a feeling of the sky falling and the earth sinking. What was rushing towards them was the dust in the sky and the surging wind. If they were not standing behind Whitebeard, I'm afraid they would have been blown away long ago. The aftermath of the collision of Whitebeard and Karatachi Yagura's attacks is comparable to S-class ninjutsu. No matter how high the defense power of the ninja is, if it is in the center of the explosion, it will be crushed into powder. Has the fourth Mizukage gone mad? The gale blew Matru Mummy's hair into a wild dance, even pulling her scalp a bit sore. Matru Mummy murmured in a daze. He will kill the people in the village. He brought so many ninjas, but he doesn't worry about their safety? Matru Mummy dared not imagine how many Hidden Mist Village ninjas would die as a result of the collision of these two moves. She can only pray for a few more lucky ones to survive in this way. Hidden Mist Village will not be exterminated. Oh my, it's really spectacular. It's going to destroy this forest. How many animals in the forest will die? This is a great sin. Oh my. On the edge of the forest, a mysterious man wearing a mask stood on a big tree, feeling the gusts of wind blowing in his face. The Akatsuki organization uniform on his body was almost blown to pieces by the wind. The tone of the masked man's speech has a very sharp sense of humor, and even adds a bit of exaggerated body movements. But the next second, his tone suddenly changed. It's as if he went through puberty in the blink of an eye. Even after using the tailed beast bomb, it was actually blocked. TSK. Whitebeard is much more useful than Karatachi Yagura. Obito Uchiha's mouth under the mask hooked up slightly. The exaggerated movements also converged. Isn't this a form of mutual manipulation? If Whitebeard can kill Karatachi Yagura, it means that this fourth Mizukage is useless, and he should pay for Rin's death with his life. Then use the Sharingan's Ganjutsu to control Whitebeard. It's much more useful than controlling a Karatachi Yagura. One Whitebeard can hold up at least 3 Karatachi Yagura. He has a kind of arrogance that has everything under control. Only one eye is revealed in the mask. But Shizue is here too. Obito squinted his eyes. If I use my eyes to control Whitebeard, can he see it? No, he can't see it. Obito scratched his head, his voice turned sharp again. He sounded like he was speaking with a pinched voice. Oh my. Why am I being so self-deprecating here? The man with the Byakugan from Hidden Mist Village believed he had found my Ganjutsu. He thought he had dispelled the Ganjutsu, but in reality, he hadn't, and I still managed to deceive him. An illusion that even the Byakugan can't perceive, not even with the Mangekyo Sharingan. His gaze looked far into the center of the forest. And he touched his chin a bit worriedly. If Karatachi Yagura dies, will the Three Tails also die? Oh my, I forgot about this. Obito hit his palms together, regretting. It's a hassle to find a tailed beast in the whole ninja world. But it seems that I can let the people in the Akatsuki organization go and find it. He actually blocked. How is this possible? Isabu, did you not use all your strength? Did you not lend me all your power? Karatachi Yagura was panting heavily. And questioning the Three Tails Isabu. Yagura, you'd better not talk to me in that tone. Isabu said discontentedly. I have already lent you all my power, and this tailed beast bomb is also my strongest attack. This tailed beast bomb can definitely destroy 3 or 4 forests of this size, but the enemy you provoked, his strange power has offset most of the tailed beast bomb. The Three Tails Isabu paused for a moment and continued. That strange vibration power has shattered a lot of the chakra in the tailed beast bomb. Damn it. Karatachi Yagura gritted his teeth. Then give him another one. If 1 is not enough, then 2, if 2 is not enough, then 3. Do you think I'm that stinky fox? The Three Tails Isabu responded. Every time I use the tailed beast bomb, I need at least half an hour before I can use it again. Hey. The guy you provoked is coming. Isabu suddenly said a reminder. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr companions. You ninja brats. It's because of this character that makes me very upset with you. Chapter 105, The Death of the Mizukage. Obito and Whitebeard. This guy. How is he so fast? Karachi Yagura looked up in shock, only to find that Whitebeard had somehow closed the distance between them. Whitebeard, over 6 meters tall, had leapt into the air, 100 meters high. The overbearing spirit is full of the domineering aura of the Emperor of the Sea. Compared to the astonishing height of the three tails, which stood at 49 meters, Whitebeard's height of just over 6 meters didn't seem that impressive. But the aura he exuded was completely different from his heights. The combined aura of the three tails and Karatachi Yagura, the Mizukage, was not as strong as Whitebeard's alone. The moment Karatachi Yagura's gaze fell on Whitebeard, who had leapt into the air, had already swung his great sword down. The black sword, wrapped in armament haki, shone with a captivating metallic luster under the sunlight. Water style, water shock wave. A low-level water style ninjutsu, in the hands of a fully transformed Karatachi Yagura, had the coverage of an S-rank ninjutsu. The surging water rushed upwards. At first glance, it looked like a waterfall flowing in reverse, crashing against Whitebeard's body. "Are you giving me another bath, hidden mist village brat?" Whitebeard's single stroke shattered the astonishingly wide water wave. His body continued to fall as he stabbed his great sword downwards. The blade of Murakamagiri easily pierced through the shell of the three tails, the nearly 10-meter-long great sword directly penetrated the shell and stabbed into the flesh inside. Whitebeard's feet also heavily stepped on the shell. Bang! The thick shell on the back of the three tails was indented by two shallow pits from Whitebeard's feet, and fine cracks began to spread in all directions. Whitebeard! The dual voices of Karatachi Yagura and the three tails roared in fury. Three huge tails, like swimming dragons, charged towards Whitebeard. Whitebeard pulled out Murakamagiri with his right hand, blocking one of its tail. He reached out with his left hand, and with a fierce grip, caught another tail in his hand. With Whitebeard's single-handed pull, he used this tail to block the third tail. Whitebeard's terrifying strength was such that even the three tails couldn't control the movement of its tails and could only let Whitebeard pull and drag them. Hidden Mist Village brat, if you were in the Grand Line, you would barely qualify as a small sea king. Whitebeard grinned. Shut up, pirate. Karatachi Yagura gritted his teeth. He didn't know what the sea kings Whitebeard mentioned were. But he could catch the disdain in the other's tone. Water style, water/wave. The water molecules in the air combined with the tailed beast chakra to quickly condense into sharp water blades. Countless water blades, like thousands of kunai, each water blade was aimed at Whitebeard, and like a sudden rainstorm, they swept towards Whitebeard. This is the water/wave that can cut through steel. Karatachi Yagura roared. I'll cut you into pieces, Whitebeard. When the first water blade fell on Whitebeard, the expected splattering of flesh and blood did not occur. Instead, the water blades simply disintegrated. Countless water blades fell on Whitebeard, but they did not cause any injuries. If anyone were watching Whitebeard, they would be shocked to see that his entire body was shining with a metallic luster. This was the full coverage of armament haki. What? Although Karatachi Yagura couldn't see what was happening behind him, he could feel that Whitebeard had not died. He didn't even smell the scent of blood. Which meant his attack was completely useless. The unique sound of the vibrating light wave was very faint, but it sounded like the horn of the Grim Reaper in Karatachi Yagura's ears. Whitebeard's left fist, already enveloped by the vibrating light wave, was seen. The massive Karatachi Yagura couldn't dodge this punch at all. Whitebeard casually smashed his fist down. Crack! The air shattered. The intense vibration even caused the shell of the three tails to show clear cracks. And in the next moment, bang! The shell of the three tails, Isabu, was shattered by a punch from Whitebeard. At least half of its massive shell burst open, with the splattering shell fragments more powerful than cannonballs. Isabu's huge body fell towards the ground below, its ferocious mouth wide open, letting out a meaningless roar. It's unclear whether it was in pain or in rage. Hidden Mist Village brat, if you not trust your comrades and respect your subordinates, you are a rotten person. Whitebeard leaped up again, his sword wrapped in Conqueror's haki. As he moved, the blade of Murakamagiri gently slid through the air, pulling out threads of black lightning. Armament haki also covered the blade. Both types of haki appeared at once. A rotten person like you, even if you're in the cruel new world, even in the eyes of the most vicious pirates, you would be despised by countless people. As a man, you should have some righteousness. Hidden Mist Village brat. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr mighty Yagura, who had lost the protection of his shell, hurriedly swung his three tails, trying to use them to block Whitebeard's sword. But even before the blade of Murakamagi retouched the three tails, an invisible sense of tearing instantly shredded the three tails. This is the Conqueror's Haki. The powerful force and shockwave caused the tailed beast's body to shatter inch by inch, and even the ground below was destroyed by this force. In the air, besides the violent hurricane, there was also black lightning, accompanied by the roar and scream of the tailed beast. Conqueror's Haki swept across the land. It was unstoppable. Yagura. I can't block this sword. The anxious voice of the three tails, Isabu, suddenly rang out in Karatachi Yagura's mind. The tailed beast's body, made up of chakra, kept exploding like a detonated bomb, with continuous booming sounds reaching the sky. The violently shaking ground was being ravaged like never before. The tailed beast's body was visibly disappearing. Karatachi Yagura's body gradually appeared, his eyes glowing red, the Sharingan pattern in his pupils was very clear. In the sight of Obito Uchiha, a dirty sword in front of him was constantly being magnified. He could even clearly see the black lightning around the blade of the dirty sword. Everything carried the breath of death. Water Mirror Jutsu. This was the last ninjutsu used by Karatachi Yagura, but the next second, the expression on his face froze. Beyond the limit of the Water Mirror Jutsu? His water mirror didn't drill out another Whitebeard. Murakami was less than 10 meters away from him. At this distance, he could even see Whitebeard's laughter. That man full of pride, from beginning to end, never seriously fought a battle with him, the fourth Mizukage. The Conqueror's haki touched Karatachi Yagura's human body first, and his skin was instantly shattered by the Conqueror's haki. He looked extremely frightened, but it was at this moment, at the moment of his death, that the Sharingan pattern in his eyes began to visibly fade. The real consciousness of Karatachi Yagura returned at the moment of his death. Whitebeard. Karatachi Yagura's eyes went from being filled with ferocity and murderous intent to becoming exceptionally clear and bright. Thank you for freeing me. Please be sure to be careful of Akatsuki. Be careful. Be sure. Boom. His petite body exploded. The fourth Mizukage of the Hidden Mist Village died in battle. Kakashi grabbed Naruto with one hand and Karen with the other, preventing these two kids from being blown away. The surging hurricane, accompanied by dust in the sky, engulfed them all. Wind style, great breakthrough. Shizue teleported in front of Kakashi. He quickly formed hand seals with both hands and used a wind style ninjutsu towards the front, trying to block the incoming hurricane. But wind style ninjutsu is not Shizue's strongest ninjutsu. He not only failed to block it, but he also accidentally inhaled a large amount of dust, causing him to cough repeatedly. Everyone had to lower their bodies to avoid being blown away by the hurricane. The scene they could see was like an apocalyptic disaster. The sky above was completely covered by dark dust. It was clearly daytime, but all around was plunged into darkness. The howling wind was like a beast roaring, the collapsing earth was like an earth dragon turning over. Various kinds of disasters appeared before their eyes. This commotion lasted for more than half a minute before it finally subsided. It was heart-stopping experience. It makes people feel worried. Their faces were full of shock. Cough, cough. Tui, tui. Shizue's face was quite blue, he spat out the dust in his mouth. The dust in the air showering his body, making him look very embarrassed. As the dust gradually dispersed, the scene they could see became clearer and clearer, and Shizue's expression became more and more shocked. This is Whitebeard? How can there be such a powerful man in this world? Shizue said this from the bottom of his heart. In front of them, it was a complete mess. Looking around, the entire forest had been leveled, all the plants, beasts, and insects in the forest had been turned into dust. All they could see was a desolate land. There were cracks and trenches all over the land. And countless pits. The dense cracks were like a magnitude 10 earthquake had occurred, the straight and narrow trenches were like large rifts that had appeared out of thin air, so deep that people couldn't see how deep they were. The pits were like those made by falling meteorites. It was unbelievable. It was like a dream. Is the residential area of Hidden Lee Village this big? Shizue recalled and found that the residential area of Hidden Lee Village was only about half the size of this forest. However, now the entire forest has been leveled, and even the areas around the forest have suffered devastating damage. If such a battle took place in Hidden Lee Village, wouldn't the entire Hidden Lee Village be destroyed? That is to say, Whitebeard was holding back when he was fighting with Hokage-sama. Shizue analyzed to himself, this man, if he made a move inside Hidden Lee Village, I'm afraid there wouldn't be many survivors in the entire Hidden Lee Village. The reason why Whitebeard didn't fight Hokage-sama with all his strength, perhaps because he didn't want to hurt the innocent. Although he is a pirate, I always feel that he doesn't seem like a villain. He is indeed not a villain. Kakashi's voice sounded from beside Shizue. From my shallow understanding of Whitebeard, rather than saying he is a vicious pirate, it's better to say he is a hero who yearns for family and the sea. Shizue was taken aback. A hero? He suddenly thought of someone. Is it a presence similar to Jiraiya-sama in our Hidden Lee Village? This is a more heroic figure than Jiraiya-sama. Kakashi affirmed, it's because of his heroic spirit that so many people want to become his family. Saying this, Kakashi looked at Naruto and Karen. Then he looked at Uzumaki Fuashi. These three people were all captivated by Whitebeard's charm. To be honest, even he felt that Whitebeard was very charismatic. It was an irresistible personal charm. What an incredible old man. Uncle Kakashi. Did Pops win? He definitely won, right? Naruto asked, grabbing Kakashi's arm. However, Naruto forgot that his grip was not weak. This forceful grab made Kakashi wince. Ouch! Naruto. Kakashi quickly pulled his hand away, looking down to see a handprint on his forearm. He sighed helplessly and said, "From the current situation, the probability of Whitebeard winning is high. But whether it's a narrow victory, a hard-fought victory, or a complete victory, I'm not sure. After all, I don't have the Byakugan." Who would have thought, the fourth Mizukage defeated just like that? He was a perfect Jinchuriki. A tailed beast plus a village's Kage. Every time Whitebeard makes a move, it's always so shocking. Kakashi was still very emotional. He felt that if a man like Whitebeard appeared in the Third Great Ninja War, no one would be able to defeat him. Unless all the ninja villages in the entire ninja world gang up on him. Only then, perhaps, could they defeat him? For example, the third Raikage in the Third Great Ninja War was worn down to exhaustion and died after facing 10,000 ninjas for 3 consecutive days and night. Pops is the winner. Suddenly, a rather immature voice rang out from the side. Everyone's gaze turned to Karen. Karen had her eyes closed. The Uzumaki clan's chakra recovery speed was faster than ordinary people, and she had once again activated her mind's eye of the Kagura. Pop's condition is no different from when he started. Karen spoke with her eyes closed, her words shocking. The bad guy who fought with Pops has no chakra fluctuations. What? Mate-Rumami asked turgidly. What does it mean that there are no more chakra fluctuations? Does it mean that the fourth Mizukage has he been killed by Whitebeard? You. Karen opened her eyes, her small face shook her head in confusion. I don't know, but I really can't feel the existence of that bad guy. Then he must be dead, his soul has already dissipated. I don't know if he's gone to heaven or hell. Uzumaki Fuashi explained at this moment. When the Uzumaki clan's mind's eye of the Kagura can't sense a person's presence, that person has a 90% chance of being dead. There's also a 10% chance that he's escaped far away, far beyond the sensing range of the mind's eye of the Kagura. No matter which possibility, it's enough to explain the old saying desperate to live. When Uzumaki Fuashi said this, she secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The heart that had been worrying for Whitebeard could finally be put down. The fourth Mizukage is dead. Mate-Rumami murmured these 2 sentences, her expression somewhat dazed. She didn't expect that the carefully planned coup could be realized so simply, but the cost seemed a bit too high. The devastation in front of her constantly reminded Mate-Rumami of the heavy losses their hidden mist village had suffered this time. The saying desperate to live is not wrong. But, this desperation is a bit too deadly. Fortunately, the fourth Mizukage didn't call the Genin ninjas in the village over. There should also be some Chunin and Jonin in the village, still guarding the village. Otherwise, the village would really be destroyed. Mate-Rumami swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The impression Whitebeard left on her was deeply imprinted in her mind. Like the power of a god. Unforgettable. Hey, isn't this joke a bit too much? Kisame is one of the few hidden mist village ninjas who didn't pass out. Even he, a steady man, showed a shocked expression. Is this a power that can destroy the world? Actually, the moment he saw the fourth Mizukage release the tailed beast, Kisame knew that what was coming was a godly battle. After all, Kisame, known as the tailed beast, he knows very well how astonishing the destructive power of that level of battle is. But he didn't expect that he still underestimated it. He was still a bit conservative. Kisame had already separated from Seimata. He held the big sword, Seimata, in front of him to block most of the aftershock. Looking at the impactful scene in front of him, Kisame took a deep breath. Whitebeard. 1. The power of an entire village combined can't even beat one man. He was standing on higher ground. He could watch with his own eyes as the massive Three Tails, Isabu, exploded like it had millions of explosive tags stuck to it. The powerful tailed beast was shattered inch by inch. The shock wave from that direction even affected Kisame. It made him feel a surge of blood. Almost suffered internal injuries. You should know that he was farther away than Kakashi and the others, and he could feel such an aftershock from such a distance. You can imagine how great the psychological shock it gave Kisame was. If you not trust your comrades and respect your subordinates, you are a rotten person. As a man, you should have some righteousness, a voice echoed in Kisame's mind. He remembered these were the 2 sentences Whitebeard shouted. These 2 sentences echoed through the entire forest. Even at his position, he could vaguely hear Whitebeard's heroic words. Did you really mean what you said, Whitebeard? Kisame put the big sword, Seimata, on his shoulder. The self-doubt in his eyes gradually became clear. He suddenly grinned, but for his face, his smile wasn't very good looking. He really is a man who makes people yearn for. Following him should be more interesting than being in Hidden Mist Village, right? On the other side, Whitebeard stood on the barren land full of cracks. The tip of Murakamagi retouched the ground. That tailed beast that was so arrogant, just disappeared like that? Whitebeard was quite regretful. I was thinking about cutting off its meat and having a full meat feast for my stupid children. Things in the ninja world are really strange, aren't they? The Akatsuki ninja who suddenly appeared. Whitebeard glanced to the right. Then, a mysterious masked man in a red cloud black robe appeared tens of meters away from Whitebeard at some point. Oops. The mysterious masked man scratched his head. I've been found. Chapter 106, Whitebeard, who is Madara Uchiha? Zabuza and Haku, that was really close just now. You don't know, when you were fighting that tailed beast, a big stone was shaken and flew towards me. It scared me. I say, you two should be a little more careful when you fight, to avoid hurting. Oh. Obito's voice sounded very off-key. He was talking while walking towards Whitebeard. As a result, he accidentally tripped over a stone under his feet. His body involuntarily fell forward. But just as his face was about to hit the ground, it suddenly stopped. With a sudden force at Obito's ankle. He stood up straight in a spring-like motion. Just kidding. Obito had already walked to Whitebeard's right side. The two were less than 10 meters apart. He crossed his arms and looked up. Looking at Whitebeard. This is the first time I've seen someone so tall. After saying that, he lowered his voice and curiously asked, Hey, I say. What's your diet like? If I eat like you, can I grow a few centimeters? Oh. By the way. You still don't know who I am, do you? Obito pointed at his clothes with a playful smile, but you should be familiar with this outfit, right? I'm from Akatsuki. But I'm not like those two, I'm more polite, and kinder than those two. Hey. Whitebeard, what do you mean by that look? Obito stomped his foot. That's definitely a look of disdain, isn't it? How could you? Are you despising me? When Whitebeard looked at Obito, his face was full of disdain. In his eyes, this was a lunatic who didn't know where he came from. That Akatsuki organization. Do they take in any trash? Ninja brat, your broken organization still doesn't want to give up? Whitebeard's contemptuous and distant eyes, you guys are really annoying. Oh dear, actually they have already given up. Obito said, that guy who calls himself the leader even said. Such a man, it seems that his will cannot be influenced by others. But well, I have a different opinion on this. The one eye revealed by the mask stared straight at Whitebeard. Obito's voice underwent a 180-degree change. From the initial sharpness like an idiot, to the sudden calmness now. It's like switching to a different personality. Very smooth. I think a person like you might affect my plan, and I also think that there is no one in the world whose will cannot be changed. If there really is such a person, perhaps the existence of the Sharingan is to restrain this kind of person. Whitebeard. Allow me to introduce myself, you can call me Obi. Obito suddenly changed his tone, his voice became deeper, even a bit hoarse. But to show my sincerity, I'd be happy to tell you a deeper identity of mine. Even in Akatsuki, there are very few people who know this identity of mine. Whitebeard, you can call me by the name that once echoed in the ninja world. Madara Uchiha. When Obito was coldly staring at Whitebeard, he was somewhat expecting Whitebeard's reaction. After all, he was going to use the Sharingan to control Whitebeard. Obito felt that it was no big deal to create a mysterious aura for himself. The result was that Whitebeard had no reaction, which surprised Obito. What's going on? According to his estimation, Whitebeard's age is at least around 70. Such a man is not an ordinary person. How could he possibly not have heard of the name Madara Uchiha? But at this moment, Obito found that the name Madara Uchiha couldn't hold down Whitebeard. Haven't you heard of my name? Obito couldn't help but question. Madara Uchiha. Whitebeard's face showed no expression. Ninja brat from Akatsuki? Why should I know the name of a nobody? PFFT. Obito almost choked on his own saliva. Madara Uchiha and nobody, how dare Whitebeard say that? Is he too arrogant, or does he really not know? Humphrey. Obito snorted, quickly gathering his thoughts. It seems that to deal with an arrogant person like you, relying on the once prestigious name of the once famous and renowned name is not enough to subdue you. Whitebeard, I must say, you are one of the most formidable people I have ever met. But at this moment, you have committed the sin of arrogance. From the moment your eyes met mine, your will and your life are in my hands. Obito, who failed to create a mysterious aura, decided to take action directly. In an instant, Obito's 3-Tomui Sharingan transformed into the Mengekyo Sharingan. A high-level instant Genjutsu was directly injected into Whitebeard's mind through the collision of their gazes. This is a very costly genjutsu. Within the entire ninja world, there are very few individuals worthy of me using this genjutsu. Obito's eyes were filled with visible chakra. His eyes were glowing with a faint red light. You, Whitebeard, are one of them. You should be proud of this. The red light in his eyes gradually faded, and the eerie and sinister Mengekyo Sharingan slowly transformed back into the three Tomoe Sharingan. Obito also let out a slight sigh. Back then, he controlled the fourth Mizukage with this genjutsu, and even affected the three tails inside the fourth Mizukage just by using a single genjutsu. He was able to control a tailed beast and a Kage-level power until now. You can imagine how terrifying it is. Hey! Is that all? Obito's mouth curled up under his mask. He shook his head helplessly. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly saw two large boots appear in front of him. Looking up, he found that Whitebeard had somehow stepped in front of him in one step. Wait. Something's wrong. Obito's pupil shrank. Whitebeard, who was under his genjutsu, how could he act autonomously without his command? Was the Sharingan's genjutsu broken by Whitebeard? Or perhaps, did the genjutsu not work from the start? Ninja brat, you're really annoying with your incessant chatter. Whitebeard, who suddenly spoke, made Obito's eyes widen. He found that he couldn't control Whitebeard at all. Obito looked up at Whitebeard, his eyes full of incredulity. What was happening now was something Obito had never expected. The Uchiha clan's most proficient genjutsu. Why would it inexplicably fail? Obito couldn't figure it out. Damn it. Obito's heart tightened. Because, in his line of sight, a large foot was stomping towards him, startling Obito and making him retreat in a panic, avoiding Whitebeard's foot. Bang! The ground that was stomped on by Whitebeard shook again, and a pit with a diameter of more than 10 meters was stomped out with one foot. Obito, who had only dodged a few meters away, was directly blown away, and even rolled on the ground for more than a dozen times. Cough cough cough. Cough to death. Obito hurriedly got up. His mysterious image was completely gone. Who would have thought that Whitebeard would just take action without saying a word? Chatty brat, although I don't know what your purpose is, the malice emanating from you is so foul that it can't be hidden. Along with Whitebeard's words came a sharp blade. A blade larger than Obito himself was slashing towards him. Oops. Obito's expression under the mask was very ugly, his body popped into the ground. When he reappeared, he had avoided several tens of meters away. He drilled out of the ground from tens of meters away. What a stubborn and difficult old man. Obito's eyes were a bit gloomy. Whitebeard couldn't be controlled by the Sharingan, which he didn't expect. This led to Obito feeling like an idiot just now. All the in control, easy to handle were actually his illusions. The situation was not in his control. He even sacrificed the fourth Mizukage for this. Obito sacrificed the fourth Mizukage with two thoughts. One was to take revenge on Rin and mess with Hidden Mist Village, and the other was that Whitebeard indeed had the potential to replace Karatachi Agura and become a better tool. Obito did sacrifice the fourth Mizukage. But he couldn't control Whitebeard. Damn it. Screwed up. Pops. 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 The distant voice came over here. Obito looked back and saw that in the far distance, someone was approaching here. The Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Obito's eyes narrowed, but he looked at Whitebeard with some apprehension. But it's not the time yet, and this guy is hard to figure out. Shizue is also there, and that big idiot Kakashi. Obito took a deep breath, suppressing the bad mood in his heart. Obito, who was hidden under the mask, had a black face. Thinking back to Whitebeard's terrifying power just now, Obito said to Whitebeard, I don't want to fight with you right now, Whitebeard, we'll meet again. Swish. Whitebeard casually slashed through the air with a knife, a light knife, like swatting a fly. But still slashed out a slash. The slash passed through Obito's body, but there was no blood and flesh flying. Instead, it fell on the ground behind Obito, cutting out a trench hundreds of meters long on the ground behind Obito. The trench was very flat, at least a dozen meters deep. It's useless. Obito said coldly, I am Madara Uchiha, such an attack is of no use to me. From today on, remember this name, Whitebeard. Honest, aren't you? Whitebeard raised an eyebrow, the corner of his mouth suddenly grinned, Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr talking about? Brat, you're not Madara Uchiha, right? Whitebeard's tone was a bit teasing. Taking someone else's name to do evil, you really are a scum from the gutter. This sentence almost made Obito's breath hitch. The expression under his mask was somewhat unbelievable. He found that when he was communicating with Whitebeard, his innermost thoughts seemed to be seen through by the other party. Obito didn't argue too much. Obito, who was wearing a mask, was also smart. He knew that if he kept arguing here, he would only make more and more loopholes in his words. Obito took a deep look at Whitebeard. He smeared his body with one hand, and his palm was like an eraser, erasing his body from Whitebeard's sight, and there were faint ripples of space around his body. In less than 2 seconds, he disappeared. Another new trick. Whitebeard planted Murakamagi-ray on the ground, and still lost Obito's breath under the wide range of perception of observation haki. It seems that the little ninja really disappeared completely, just like a kind of teleportation. Whoosh 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 with several sounds, Kakashi and others rushed over. Obito Uchiha had previously heard Naruto's voice and saw the figures of Kakashi and others. Naruto, Kakashi, Shizui, Karen, Faashi, Maitru Mummy, not one of them was missing. They all came over. Pops, are you okay? Naruto asked anxiously, looking left and right at Whitebeard as soon as he arrived. When he found out that Whitebeard was not injured, Naruto finally breathed a sigh of relief. Phew. He scratched his head and laughed sheepishly. It seems that Karen was right, Pops is not injured. I knew it, Pops is stronger than the 4th Mizukage. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr He gave Naruto a fist of love. Naruto howled in pain. Also, Karen has already said that I'm fine. Why don't you believe what your family says, you stupid son? Whitebeard grinned maliciously and laughed. Tomorrow your training volume will triple, consider it a punishment for you. 3 times? Naruto was instantly dumbfounded. The terrifying amount of training on a regular day was already killing him, and he needed the help of the big fox to keep going. Now suddenly it's tripled. Hiss. Even though he hasn't started tomorrow's training yet, Naruto already felt that his muscles and bones were aching. Pops, I just saw someone standing here from a distance, but when I got here, he was gone. Uzumaki Fuashi curiously asked, who was that person? TSK, he is just a coward. Whitebeard said dismissively, wearing a mask, claiming to be from the Akatsuki organization. He also claimed to be Madara Uchiha. What the hell, I've never heard of him. What? Madara Uchiha? Uzumaki Fuashi didn't have much of a reaction, but Kakashi and Shizue both exclaimed in unison. Huh? Is he famous? Whitebeard raised his eyelids in surprise. Kakashi took a deep breath, his shocked expression hidden behind his mask. He suppressed his shocked emotions and explained to Whitebeard, Madara Uchiha is more than just famous. Back then, Hidden Leaf Village was actually established by two ninjas. One of them was our Hidden Leaf Village's first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, and the other was Madara Uchiha, whom you mentioned, Whitebeard. Speaking of which, Madara Uchiha is also an ancestor of the Uchiha clan. Kakashi looked at Shizue. My understanding of him is limited to some books in Hidden Leaf Village. The people who really understand him should be the Uchiha clan. Madara Uchiha is indeed our ancestor. Shizue's expression was more complex than Kakashi's, but he is unlikely to be alive now. According to the historical records of the Uchiha clan, Madara Uchiha died in the Battle of the Valley of the End. But now, another Madara Uchiha has appeared? Shizue determined, he must be someone who is causing trouble in the ninja world under the name of the Uchiha ancestor. He can't possibly be Madara Uchiha. And Shizue felt that even if their Uchiha clan's ancestor did not die in the Battle of the Valley of the End back then, but after so many years, the other party probably would have died of old age by now, right? That Whitebeard Dono Maitru Mummy interjected in a low voice, could you please tell us, our fourth Mizukage of Hidden Mist Village, he is now dead. Whitebeard casually responded, that brat seemed to be controlled by someone, he recovered before he died, and told me to be careful of the Akatsuki organization. The Mizukage was still being controlled? Maitru Mummy was suddenly shocked, but on second thought it made sense. That's right, if he wasn't being controlled, he wouldn't have continued to implement the blood mist policy. We thought we had dispelled the Sharingan Ganjutsu, but it actually didn't. Maitru Mummy smiled bitterly, it's no wonder it's a famous eye technique in the ninja world. The entire village's ninjas couldn't handle a Sharingan eye technique. They were also played around by an eye technique. It's too embarrassing. If you guys are sure that your fourth Mizukage of Hidden Mist Village was controlled by our Uchiha clan's Sharingan Ganjutsu, Shizue suddenly said, then does this have anything to do with that mysterious person who claims to be Madara Uchiha? Does the fourth Mizukage's warning to be careful of the Akatsuki organization mean that there is a traitor from our Uchiha clan in the Akatsuki organization? Or does it mean that there is no traitor from the Uchiha clan in the organization, but someone in the organization has mastered the Sharingan? Shizue thought of Denzo, who had almost killed him. Denzo was not a member of the Uchiha clan, But he had transplanted the Sharingan and possessed the terrifying power of the Sharingan. Kakashi put one hand in his pocket, so that person who calls himself Madara Uchiha just appeared to control Whitebeard like he controlled the fourth Mizukage. But he didn't expect that Whitebeard doesn't have chakra, so the Sharingan Genjutsu has no effect on Whitebeard. Ah. Whitebeard Dano doesn't have chakra. Maitru Mummy was stunned. Isn't he a ninja? Pops is not a ninja. Naruto said confidently, Pops is the Emperor of the Sea. I think this is much more powerful than a ninja. Maitru Mummy looked around in confusion. Whitebeard Dano is not a ninja. Then what power caused the destruction around here? This. A day later. Zabuza didn't expect to wake up not in heaven. He struggled to open his tired eyelids, and what he saw was the ceiling of the Hidden Mist Village Hospital. As a ninja, he was not unfamiliar with the ceiling of the hospital. The strong smell of disinfectant in the air was very pungent. His eyes gradually regained some spirit. It seems that I'm still alive, Zabuza murmured such a sentence in a hoarse voice. His words attracted the attention of others. Zabuza. You. The indistinguishable male and female childish voice, with a bit of shock and joy, and quite a bit of relief, sounded from his side. You woke up? I knew you would be okay. As the voice sounded, Zabuza felt his hand being grabbed by two soft little hands. He tried to glance sideways. Zabuza's eyes instantly turned cold. Let go. He said coldly, I brought you back, not for you to pity me. Not for you to pity anyone. I want you to become a killing machine, not to become such a soft-hearted person. Yes, Zabuza. Haku was taken aback, his face showed a bit of desolation. He carefully let go of his hands and retreated to the side. Haku, who is only 3 years older than Naruto and only 9 years old, was adopted by Zabuza a few months ago. Haku really wanted to repay Zabuza's kindness with practical actions. But Zabuza couldn't stand this kind of sticky behavior. He often spoke coldly to Haku. Haku, tell me, how long have I been asleep? What happened in the village? The fourth Mizukage. Is he still alive? Chapter 107, Haku and Whitebeard. Investigating the mysterious masked man. Zabuza, you've been unconscious for a day and a night. It was Maitru Mamisana who brought you back. Haku's delicate little face looked pitiful as he weakly answered Zabuza's question. From the hundreds of ninjas that Yagura-sama took out, only a little over 100 came back, and they all had more or less injuries. Many of them were seriously injured and carried back. Zabuza, you were one of them. Yagura-sama. Haku paused, carefully observing Zabuza's face as he spoke. The Mizukage didn't come back yesterday. Zabuza. After a few breaths of silence, Zabuza, with a bewildered look in his eyes, stared straight at the ceiling above. How many ninjas died in Hidden Mist Village is not important to him. What's important is that the most crucial person didn't come back alive. That is to say, the fourth Mizukage is probably dead. He was killed by that Whitebeard. TSK. Zabuza muttered in a disdainful tone, I didn't expect to be beaten by a pirate. He had long intended to assassinate the fourth Mizukage. But there was never an opportunity to act. After all, it's not that simple to assassinate a perfect Jinchuriki, whether it's poisoning or traps, they're all useless to Jinchuriki. Zabuza has been thinking about ways to do it recently. But now he doesn't have to think about it. The person he wanted to kill is dead beyond dead. Zabuza, you haven't eaten anything for a day and a night, shall I go and make some porridge for you? Haku quietly said in Zabuza's ear. No need, I'm not hungry. Zabuza spoke, you don't need to follow me anymore, for me, you are now useless. Alright, then. Haku was stunned on the spot, his watery big eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Haku tried to pull out a strong smile. Zabuza. You're joking, right? Haku's voice was very choked. And Zabuza, who was lying on the hospital bed. At this moment, he turned his head to look at Haku. That extremely cold and unfamiliar look in his eyes made Haku choke on the words he wanted to say. I adopted you, just to make you a tool to kill the fourth Mizukage. Now that the fourth Mizukage is dead, you are of no use to me. The fourth Mizukage is dead, and I have no need to keep a brat like you. You are of no use to me, you have lost your value of use. In my eyes, you are no different from trash now. Do you understand? If you don't, I can tell you again. Saying this, Zabuza's bloodthirsty aura spread out, enveloping Haku. A bone-chilling sense of fear surged up in Haku's heart. But no matter how great that fear was, it couldn't compare to the shock, grievance, disbelief and other emotions in Haku's heart. Zabuza. Plop. The misty big eyes could no longer hold back the tears inside, and the grievous and sad hot tears slid down his fair little face. Get away. Zabuza's tone didn't change at all, his eyes were not the ones Haku was familiar with. Humphrey, continue being an orphan. If you want to repay my kindness, stay out of my sight. Yes, Zabuza. I understand. Haku bit his tender lower lip tightly. His lip was bitten and broken. Blood oozed out. Haku, who was lost and dazed, was a bit lightheaded when he stood up. His steps stumbled, and he almost tripped himself. Just as he turned around and was about to walk towards the door of the ward, he couldn't help but look back. The inner hope of staying did not happen. All he saw was a pair of cold eyes. Those eyes had no emotion, but they were like sharp blades, stabbing into Haku's heart, causing his body to tremble. Haku sniffled hard. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Ever since being adopted by Zabuza, Haku had been prepared to be a tool. Whatever Zabuza asked him to do, he would do. Haku also felt that there was nothing wrong with being a tool, and even enjoyed being such a tool. At least, it meant he was useful. But Zabuza despised him for not even being able to be a tool. He had lost all value to Lord Zabuza. Haku was completely lost. And completely disoriented. After gently opening the door of the ward and then gently closing it, he stood outside the door for more than half an hour, until his eyes were so dry that he couldn't squeeze out a single tear. Haku's mood was unprecedentedly low. Leaning against the door of the ward, he murmured softly, "If someday you need me again, Zabuza can come to find me at any time." Inside the ward, hearing the sound outside, listening to the footsteps gradually going away, Zabuza's cold expression did not change at all, until he could no longer hear a bit of footsteps. The fourth Mizukage is dead, the blood mist policy may end, Hidden Mist Village may get better and better. At least this village, no matter how bad it is, it won't be worse than it is now. Zabuza finally spoke, speaking to the empty air. "There can be many meanings to your survival in this world. There is no need to follow a person like me. Live well, brat." Just as his words fell, Zabuza's expression suddenly changed. He turned his head to look out the window with an ugly face. A blush flashed across his cheek. He was a bit annoyed on the spot. "How long have you been squatting here?" "Just about 10 or so minutes." The window was opened by someone, and Biwajuzo, who was wrapped in bandages, walked in from outside and sat directly on the windowsill. Biwajuzo was interested. "I didn't expect you to be such a person. This is the first time I've really seen this side of you. The mighty demon Zabuza can also be so gentle." "Damn it. You bastard." Zabuza was so angry that he was smoking. "Shut up. Alright, let's talk business. I came here to ask you one more time, and it's the last time." Biwajuzo retracted his smile. His expression was very serious. "Do you want to join the Akatsuki organization with me?" Zabuza frowned. "The Mizukage is dead, the blood mist policy may end. Under these circumstances, you still want to leave Hidden Mist Village?" "I wanted to join Akatsuki before, with the intention of using Akatsuki's power to kill the Mizukage. But now my thoughts have changed. I want to join Akatsuki now, to kill a mysterious masked man in the Akatsuki organization who claims to be Madara Uchiha." Biwajuzo said coldly, "I learned some situations from Matru Mummy's mouth. The real mastermind behind the implementation of the blood mist policy is not Karatachi Yagura, but the mysterious masked man. I will infiltrate the Akatsuki organization to investigate everything and then kill him." "A masked man who claims to be Madara Uchiha?" Zabuza, lying on the bed, was taken aback. "Matru Mummy. You're being too reckless." Ao, who was also in the hospital with Zabuza, his arm and leg both heavily plastered, gritted his teeth and said, "Our plan has been in place for several years. Among them, there are Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C, but now none of the plans can be used. The key point is, we were so close. Just a little bit more and Hidden Mist Village would have been wiped out. If it weren't for the fact that some of the ninjas were lucky and were blown away from the start, I'm afraid they would all have died in that forest. Even now, the Chunin and Jonin who survived in the village, added together, do not exceed 150 people. They do not exceed 150 people. Do you know what that means?" Al's tone was on the verge of collapse when he mentioned this. Even such a steady man as him could hardly hold back his emotional fluctuations. "If a few more people die, we'll be worse off than the Hidden Grass Village." Ao, who was sitting in a wheelchair, was very upset. Who could accept such a loss? During the Third Great Ninja War, Hidden Mist Village didn't suffer such heavy losses, right? Originally, Hidden Mist Village was barely at the bottom of the 5 great ninja villages, and now Hidden Mist Village doesn't need to be barely anymore, it is the bottom of the 5 great ninja villages. In fact, given the current remaining military strength of Hidden Mist Village, it can be called the shame of the 5 great ninja villages. Ahem. I think this is a case of survival from desperation. Things have already happened, and it was because of her that they happened, and it was Matru Mummy who watched all this happen with her own eyes. What else could Matru Mummy say? She could only say nice things. That's not to say that the village would be placed in such a desperate situation. I was angry and wanted to say something, but couldn't, and finally could only sigh helplessly. Forget it, let's think about how to restore the village. The only thing to be thankful for is that one of the sources of the blood mist policy has been eradicated. And that battle didn't happen in the village, so the village looks intact on the surface. Saying this, I thought back to that apocalyptic scene, and his body shuddered violently. In his eyes, the fourth Mizukage, who was a perfect Jinchuriki, was already a monster among monsters.